All right, folks. Sorry, we've been gabbing.
Gab.
Let's do this show or something like that. I can find my buttons, my correct buttons. I'm lost here.
Buttons.
Button
It's been a while.
Buttons, baby.
It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us.
Go down that beard.
All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. And with that being said, let's get this show started. What's up, y'all?
Summertime,
baby. It's been that long since the last episode. It's already summer. Sorry, I've been out on the boat. I've just been busy,
Nice tan.
It gets nice like this. I just, got things to do. So we're back. This is season 6, episode 4. Yep. Episode 4. We're here. We're living it up. Look, it's going to be season 7. We're going to have like 6 episodes of this season. So it is what it is. We're back. This episode is sponsored by the one and only.
Is it sponsored?
Hot and Ready Krispy Kreme. And if you'd like to make that official, send us an email.
now available in the Southland.
I DoorDash these. That golden goodness. They never come hot and ready.
No.
They were hot and ready.
Oh, I thought you pulled that out of like the oven or something.
No, man.
Like you bought them.
They came hot and ready like that. I was really impressed.
Damn.
Except they didn't bring my fucking drinks. DoorDash never brings your fucking drinks.
Yeah.
Does this ever happen to you?
Yes.
It's the one thing they always forget.
Did they fuck up your order again?
I wanted fucking orange juice and chocolate milk, and I got none. Fuck them.
God, that's twice today.
They suck. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got fucked earlier with
pizza.
Romeo's. Fuck DoorDash.
Why'd
Probably
they
just
cancel it?
DoorDash hates me. I even work for you fucks.
It's your fault.
That's bullshit.
It's your fault.
Anyhow, we're back. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. Season 6, episode 3. Joined as always by Christopher, the Film Freak Kessinger.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Greetings.
Kind sir. What are you wearing over there?
Mariners. Old logo.
I should have known.
I wanted to be comfortable today.
Should always be comfortable. It's Friday, though.
It's Friday, man.
ABC.
This is our very first Friday episode, so we're drinking.
Is that true?
I'm drinking.
Here,
mine's
in there.
Get one, Dan. Chris is drinking a Great Lakes IPA and IPA.
Pepsi.
Dan's got a Pepsi to go with his Taco Bell, and
Might have to step away.
kind enough to bring us this
at some
big
point.
roll of toilet paper for him and Chris to use.
Not me. That's
I've got a bidet though, so that's more appropriate.
Yeah, but it's always turned off in there. So
Gotta turn it
Don't
on.
even
Gotta
know.
turn it on.
Yeah, I've never checked
Save,
that out.
save it for me. Anyhow, Chris is here, also joined by Daniel, Denim Dan, the shoe guy, Sandmann.
The champion.
what's up? Your
Your new nickname's Peter Pan.
No, it's
We'll
not.
talk about that
Don't-
later. Peter Dan.
Don't give me that nickname. Don't even
Peter
want that.
Dan. Peter Dan.
I
Don't
do have a
like that.
question later that I got to know about your trip.
Later.
We'll get there though.
So, guys, we've been off. 2 episodes are up. Check those out. Go back, listen. I did 2 back-to-back this week, and then this one will be up, I don't know, by Christmas or Halloween or something. You'll hear it sooner or later.
2024.
Christopher.
The war's over.
Oh, my God. Oof. We can just, tell the future. What is new? What is happening? You were on vacation along with us.
I was. I think like you guys caught the tail end of mine.
Yeah.
Like yours started right about when mine was ending.
Yeah.
I did a lot of shit on vacation, man. Packed week. Started with a Dwight Yoakam concert on Friday that I had been meaning to go to for 2 years. It kept getting canceled over and over again. Concert was dope though, man. It was badass. I'm not a big country fan, but they had an opening band that came on there called Co-Towns, and they rocked the house. Kind of a nice little southern twang, old school country. From there, I did a couple of museums during the week. The Rock Hall of Fame was the second time I've only ever been there.
Was it rocking and cocking?
It was rocking and cocking. They had the TNT guys there doing the All-Star game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it
like
was.
they set up the booth there and everything. I asked the guy if I could get my picture like sitting in the booth.
No.
Wouldn't do it. What a cocksucker.
What a fuck.
All
Anybody
you're doing
notable?
is sitting in there. It's
Right.
not like you're gonna take the shit on the chair.
And nobody
He
like
might have.
they weren't live yet. Like they were just setting everything up. So I was like, I just want a picture on the booth, like where Charles
Is it all
sits.
roped off?
Yeah. Well, no. The bottom was there's like stairs behind it that was roped off, but I could just jump on the stage or something, you know. But the Rock Hall was cool. They did a lot of adjustments in the like 15 years that I've been there. God, that place looks completely different. Did the Pro Football Hall of Fame the day before. That was pretty cool too. It was nice because nobody was really there during the weekdays.
I bet the Rock Hall of Fame wouldn't look any different if I went.
You go all the time.
I've never been.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Yeah, last time I went there, I saw a band known as Hybrid Theory, who eventually became
Yes.
Linkin Park, and they
Yeah.
performed there for an MTV special. And like a week later, they were famous. They were known as Linkin Park. Fucking
Nice.
awesome. But anyway, besides that, yeah, just relaxed a little bit. Finally got things moving for our pool tournament that kicks off in 12 days.
How
And
many Brown Super Bowl rings did you see in the Hall of Fame?
is there a soundbite for that? That's the one. I saw none.
Oh man.
But all those rings are pretty cool, though. It's interesting to see how much they've changed year by year, like how many more carats or
Yeah.
gold luster. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you can design your own ring too. I put a Cowboys 2023 one on there, and I left it on the screen so the next person would see it. Fucking kids come in after me, and they go, "Oh, that'll never happen."
Wow. Fuck.
The Super Bowl ring for like 2028 is going to be Infinity Gauntlet
Yeah,
because they've gotten like the rings have gotten
They're
so
giant.
massive.
dude, they're fucking huge.
For what
man.
reason?
Yeah, imagine you're a kicker wearing that fucking big, huge ring. Good God. But yeah, it was good. It was a good week off, and looking forward to the next one in 9 weeks from today.
I'm counting them down.
Yes.
Where's that one for? Phoenix?
Just gonna be a local. I've actually thought about it because they said right around May they're gonna release some more Suns Valley jerseys out to the just team shop only, not online.
Got to make that trip.
I'm like, I might have to take a few days and go down there.
Be worth the trip.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel,
Yes.
the shoe guy. What's new? What's happening?
It's the Haps.
What's the happy haps?
I too back from vacation.
You too?
I too. Went to Florida. We'll talk about that. I don't know if we want to do it when
Florida?
you're up, but
No. Florida, it's your vacation.
it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Perfect weather.
Mhm.
Weather was like you couldn't have
It was nice.
picked a better week
We talking
for
80s.
Orlando.
It was high 70s, 80s every day.
I
No
think
rain.
One day it was like 86, 87.
Yep.
February.
Dude, it's
Sunny.
Beautiful.
It rained like
It sprinkled
briefly in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a little cloudy and then cleared up to blue
Sprinkled
skies and happiness.
As we were driving into Animal Kingdom, it sprinkled for maybe 10 minutes.
Mhm.
It was nothing.
It's dry 5 minutes later.
Yeah, it was nothing. It was
It
beautiful.
was awesome. Great time.
What was the highlight of the trip for you?
The highlight of the trip. This Alicia got to see the fireworks at Magic Kingdom.
Oh
The show, the display. And we wanted to set up, we wanted to get there and get a better seat. We were kind of tucked behind a tree.
Yeah.
So we forced, because it was her first time seeing it, we forced her into a better position while we stood back. And I was watching as the tears are rolling down her face
Oh.
of joy. It was great.
Do they do that
Yeah.
every night? The fireworks?
Yep.
Really?
Mhm.
God, how much do they spend on
A
fireworks?
lot of money. And it's
Oh,
it's a
it's tons.
15-minute show. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty serious.
Holy shit.
Well,
You
they
can't
say-
walk through that section. I mean, I can't even imagine how many people corral there to watch, but I mean, you cannot walk. It's chaos.
Mhm.
Yeah, they saved money on the Hollywood Studios show.
Yeah, no shit.
Fireworks,
That's
that was the worst.
awful.
Usually they do a Star Wars
Mhm.
segment of fireworks and lasers and all that stuff.
Galaxy's fucking edge is there.
And they
So
took
they
that
normally
away.
do like an awesome Star Wars light show, and there was nothing. It was terrible.
That's the Universal part of it, or
No, it's a Hollywood Studios.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the Disney parks.
okay.
They used the what's that, the theater. What theater is that called?
Oh, were they projected on?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I can't remember what it's called, but they used that as the backdrop, and they did a Disney animation history and
Oh, cool.
live action history, like just
Old ass Mickey.
yeah, and it just wasn't thrilling. And we were set up in like the perfect spot, dead center, right at the front of a walkway. So nobody could sit in front of you or stand in front of you.
Mhm.
People were getting yelled at if they stopped in front of you.
Damn.
It was
the
so
show
bad. I
was
left
so-
our prime seating and went and sat down by a tree where I could barely see it because
was a
I
little-
was so unamused. I was like, "This is."
Damn.
We've seen so many of them
Yeah.
that have been amazing, and this one was so. It was a big clusterfuck too. Like they play
Oh,
like
yeah.
clips of movies and stuff on the screen, and then like the songs or stuff that go with them.
And it froze up.
There was just so much going on, and then it froze, and the sound was still playing, but nothing was moving.
Ugh.
I'm like, this is Disney. Like you were better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
And
delayed.
it's funny because we were joking the night before at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
What if somebody clipped the projectors
Yeah.
and throws off the alignment on the building? And then this
First
one,
jinxed it.
First suspect right here.
We jinxed it.
Suspect
and this
number
one
one.
at Hollywood Studios froze up.
Yeah.
She got to ride the Hollywood Tower of Terror for the first time.
Yeah,
that
that looks cool.
I love that ride, and
Bro.
I don't think she does, but she was screaming the whole way.
It was awesome.
Now that's different from the Twilight Zone, right? Like you guys did a Twilight Zone
That's
one
the
too.
That's the Tower.
Oh,
of
is that
Terror,
it?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be my jam.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
My side question that I wanted to ask you. So like one of my favorite videos that I always watch online is the people who play Gaston at Disney World and Disneyland. Was he there? Did they have like a Gaston walking around?
They don't do the walk around anymore.
Oh, okay.
When I used to go as a kid growing up, it was when like Mickey and Goofy and Donald Duck, they'd all just be walking around the park and you could run up to
Signing
them and hug them
autographs.
and everything.
Yeah.
Now they have character sightings or signings where you literally have to wait in a line and they're just standing there and you go up, you take your picture, then the next person comes up. Like it's
Fuck
very
that.
like so many people. The park has just gotten so big and so many people are there. It's not safe for them just to walk around anymore. So
because they had like Gaston's house,
yeah,
and they'd have him
they
just
have
like
it.
lean up against him or it, and they'd have like kids would walk up to him and he'd be an asshole and a prick as usual to these kids, and that's I love those videos. I was just curious if they still had that there.
Yeah, they still do that. It's just you have to wait in a line to do it to
Oh.
go see them. It's not like you can just walk up to them anymore. So they still do like their little interactions with you, but it's not the same. It's choreographed. So
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Overall, great trip. Had fun. We got a nice car upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we arrived at the airport, we went down to Budget to get our car, pick up our rental car. That was probably the longest line we waited in all weekend.
Absolutely.
Was to get the rental
It's a
car.
tourist trap, dude. Florida is like
And
might as well be Vegas.
there was talks that they didn't have any cars
Yeah.
to rent out.
I mean, we went
Like we reserved it. I had a reservation.
the time of year we went was good. Like we normally do February, March, or October,
Mhm.
November-ish. But we went a holiday weekend. That was the main difference this time with it being busier than normal.
There's a ton of people.
It was busy. So I mean, yeah, that line for the rental car was insane. I mean, they were like borrowing cars from another rental place.
Yeah.
They were like bargaining with them to like we need a car. Can we have one of yours? Like we rented through Budget, but we got our car from Avis.
I think so.
Wonder how that works. Like they cut them a rate or something. Like
Yeah, I don't know how if they transfer the reservation, like they just transfer you over or something. But
But there's nobody in that Avis line.
No.
That Budget line
Budget
was
was packed.
40 people.
Yeah.
And it took forever. But we rented what, a Passat is like,
we
or
were supposed to get a
similar,
Passat, yeah.
Volkswagen.
and we got a 4Runner.
2024 runner. It was dope.
Wow. Yeah, that is an upgrade.
Big, yeah, and free tolls, which saved us about 30-minute drive time to
Yep.
get to the airport.
The guy hooked us up. He was nice. Fred.
Sam, I think it was Sam.
He was a nice guy, older guy.
In case you're listening.
Yeah, took care of us. It's nice when you have that kind of service because I mean, especially when you're that busy. I mean, he had been there like 13 hours at this point.
Oh,
So I mean, he was very calm and collected and was still very nice. Like, you couldn't tell he was overwhelmed by the fact that there was a million people waiting.
He's even gonna take us out to the car because
Yep.
he's like, I'm gonna walk out with you because he didn't have any cars. Like he was gonna
He was
peruse the
gonna
lot, to
walk out.
see-
Period. Fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm out.
if not, he was going to dive off the parking deck and
Yeah.
fucking leave.
Probably the
Jeez.
best rental car I've gotten,
It was nice.
Nice, good hotel.
except
then.
for the key fob didn't work,
Yeah. that
so I
was
couldn't do
annoying.
the beep beep in the parking lot.
no beep beep.
no beep beep and the boop boop.
Back tire was low on air, so I had to pay $2 for air.
You're kind of ruining your case the longer this goes.
First world problems.
Right.
There was a stain on the front seat.
Yeah.
Someone
9
shit their
millimeter,
pants.
9mm in the glove box,
It was actually a stolen vehicle.
cocaine in the tires.
He just wanted it off the lot. You guys are gonna take this off my hands.
Best car I ever had.
It was awesome.
Last guy that rented this murdered somebody with it. We just need to get rid of it.
Is this OJ's real Bronco?
Free upgrade.
But
Good Lord.
I started making a watch band.
Yeah.
Actually, I did make a watch
You can
band.
start. I'll say it's done.
It's got a lot of work to do.
Gucci, right?
It's a Gucci bag.
Looks done to me.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Gucci watch band.
Gucci.
Denim Dan.
That's Gucci.
I think it came out good.
Oh.
Yeah, for the first go around. Got some things I'll improve on. My sewing technique, for one.
Hey, you're learning.
I know.
You're
it's
learning.
fun too. But I think that's all I have.
Vacation. Yeah.
Vacation was a big part of it.
That was really it for me. I mean, that's all we've done since the last show. Mainly was vacation.
What was your favorite part of the trip?
Being not here.
Okay. What was your real favorite part of the trip?
Really, just going to Disney is always my favorite. Being a Universal, it was cool to go with like another couple. Usually me and Dan go by ourselves, or like me, Dan, and Ashley have gone, but like we've never done like as a couple thing. So that was really cool. And it was cool to experience Alicia's
Why are
like
you laughing?
for not like that.
Chris.
I mean, it wasn't wife swap weekend or anything. It was cool to see Alicia's she's been there like as a kid, but not me and Dan always go, and she's always jealous that we go without her. So it was cool to see her experience it. And Dan was saying that we watched the light show. He was watching Alicia watching it, and like she was crying and stuff.
Yeah.
Next to her, there was a group of people that were like FaceTiming their friend. And like, so I could see her face the whole time. This chick's mind was getting blown the entire time. And it was the coolest thing to watch her facial expressions as she's watching like the
Just
fireworks and the music.
First
and stuff.
time, probably.
Dude, I mean, she's just like, oh my God. It was really cool to watch. But yeah, just vacation in general. Getting out of here was super nice. So
no flight troubles.
we talked about on last episode or the one before, mine and Dan's situation with Frontier and how it sucked and plane broke down and all this shit. So we flew Spirit this time. We always fly Spirit.
Goodbye tour.
Went down, no problem. Coming back, no delays or anything. Get on the plane just fine. But
they were late to board.
They
though.
were
probably like 10-15 minutes late to board.
both ways. They were the boarding was a little delayed. But I mean, we left, I think, relatively on time. No delay, basically. We get on this one. They get you on the plane as normal. They sit you down. You always have that like 10-minute time window, like where everyone's getting boarded and the stuff's situated, and they do their little seatbelt spiel. If you don't know how to do it, Tommy will come down there, hit you in the head with a pin hammer
Because
you're an idiot.
That's not what he said.
So we did all of that, and then we're sitting there, and then we're sitting there, and then we're sitting there, and it's in silence.
I think it was like 20 minutes.
No
went by.
one's saying anything.
Waiting for the
But
plane to get off the tarmac.
me and Ashley are the third row back from the front. So we're watching the interactions of the airline, of the crew up front, and they're interacting, but they're not telling the people on the plane anything.
Oh God.
And we keep seeing maintenance guys coming in and going into the cockpit.
Oh,
And we're like, what's going on? And they're in the cockpit, and then they're like talking, and then they like close the door behind them, like, because they don't want anybody to hear what's going on.
we're fucked.
And the door's kind of open, and the guy's pulling manuals, like the big pilot books off the shelf, and like going through them. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, you need to say something, because we're all watching this happen. They eventually come on the air, and the stewardess lady comes on first, and she says, hey, just a heads up, if you use the restroom, you can move around. We're working on a non-emergency, no big deal maintenance issue. We should be good quickly, you know. So if you need to go to the bathroom, now's the time to do it, so we don't have to worry about it when we're ready. She makes it out like no big deal.
Like no big deal.
Real nonchalant. Then the pilot comes on, and he's like, as you heard from Jacqueline, there's a maintenance problem. When they were fueling the plane, the fuel valves got shut and they won't reopen. So
It's a pretty big problem.
we need to get this resolved. Otherwise we can't leave, basically. And I'm like, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Because we can't fly without the fuel. So they figured it out. But I was like, that's kind of nerve-wracking. Even when they say they fixed it, Then we're taxiing to go
And
take
it
off,
stops.
and the plane like stutters, and the lights like flicker on and off, and I'm like, this is not happening. Like, this is not okay. We're gonna be like taking off, and the fuel valve's closed. It's like, like it was nerve wracking.
Frontier took over early, huh?
It was nerve wracking.
Yeah,
that was not a fun flight. Only experience I've had like that before was coming home from Dallas at Christmas time, and we flew into Cleveland in an ice storm, and the pilot almost rolled the plane.
Ooh.
The airport, the ground was completely iced, and we came down on like one wheel and slid, and the wing, like I was window seat, and the wing, like I'm talking like a quarter inch from hitting the ground.
Oh man.
And it was the most terrifying experience of my life.
So it did like one of those.
He like bounced.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is super sketchy. And outside of that, I've never had like a moment where I've been flying and I've been like nervous. This flight, I was like, I can't wait till we land.
They the flight down, I think we were on a much newer plane. That thing was like set up, even like
really
the
nice.
cheap seats.
Yeah.
They were
upgraded.
like padded backs too.
Yeah.
And the tray table that folded out, it extended, which you don't normally get that
Yeah.
on Spirit flights. The plane coming back home was the traditional Spirit,
Yeah. There's like
basic
some of the
metal
fleet
back.
that are upgraded.
The tray table was like 3.5, 4 inches deep.
Yeah.
Like my iPad barely sat on
Mm.
the tray table. But I think in the lighting, like you're
Yeah.
talking about, the lights were flickering. Like the flight down, you could see the little howdy sign on the tail or the upslope of the wing.
Yeah.
On this other one, there was no light shining. I'm like, are the lights even on? Are people
They
going to
were
be able to
conserving
see
fuel.
it? Are they going to see us in the sky? Like I was nervous that we were flying in the dark,
Yeah.
basically invisible, because I didn't see any lights, not even the blinking lights out there.
It's a
Flight
scene
down was a little sketchy.
Oh God.
Oh, I mean, flight home was a little sketchy, but we got home. We're safe. Once we took off, everything went smooth as normal. It was just that
There's
that
some
you gotta
bumpy parts.
You got to communicate with an airplane full of people. You can't have them
Yeah.
sitting there in silence and not say anything. Like, just address that there's something going on and you're working on it. You know, it was a solid like 20 minutes before they addressed it, and then we still had to wait after that. So
Yeah, my dad said he kept checking the flight status, and Akron doesn't tell you the delays. My dad had to go through Spirit and find out, and he's like, I checked it and I didn't see any. It says it was on time, so I started driving it down to the airport.
yeah.
And then I refreshed it like 10 minutes later, and it said it was like 35, 40 minutes late.
Yeah.
And you don't know. That's a thing. Like I've picked up my mom from flights before, and like it happens that way. Sometimes you show up and you're like, well, it's supposed to be on time.
Yeah.
Nope, now it's 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
So he was out there waiting for a little bit.
Suck.
But thank you to him for
Thank you,
taking
Wes.
us to the airport and picking us up.
Much appreciated.
Much appreciated.
Normally that's Alicia.
Yep.
This
She
time
got
it
to
was- she got to enjoy it this time.
enjoy it.
So that's it, really. Vacation and catching up on the pod, which I'm caught up on. So now we just got to keep it going. What are you guys excited to talk about? What do we want to kick it off
Because
with?
I think we should save yours for last.
You want to do the Hollywood, the
Yeah.
reports of the wood?
Yes, sir.
What did we say we renamed it?
Let's say sports.
The
Let's do sports. 'cause
Wood
there's
report?
nothing going on.
Sports?
Yeah, I think there was the Wood report, wasn't it?
What were we calling it?
It was a mixture of two words.
I don't remember.
The hardwood report.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! No. Steve! Assemble!
What are we calling it? So let's get locker room talk. Let's get wood.
That's what. Let's get Wood.
Let's get wood.
Yeah, because it was a mixture.
I fucked up. I fucked up last week and miscombobulated our segment. But
2 weeks ago.
this is Hollywood Report. Christopher's going to talk to us about. What did I say it wrong?
You said last week.
I don't fucking know. Whatever. This week's all that matters. And Christopher is going to talk to us about the wide world of movies.
That's right. And it's not Chris, it's Dick Lapstick.
That's right, Dick Lapstick. I apologize. Dick Lapstick, the film freak.
So kicking it off this week, Britney's back, bitch. Britney Spears has been tapped by Simon & Schuster for $15 million to write a tell-all book on her tribulations over the last 5 years with everything with her father, the legal court battles, the battles with her family, including her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, who has been very toxic to her in the media. So I know we've talked about her and her case on this show a couple of times back, about a year ago. Does this book fascinate you guys? I mean, as fans of Britney, as non-fans of Britney, is this a big deal to hear her side of the story finally?
Not to me. Like I'm not a big reader in general.
Okay.
I don't really need to know the details of what she's been going through.
Don't you think though, like so we've had all these documentaries, you know, told from her fans' perspective, from her family's perspective. We haven't heard anything from Britney's perspective.
But I don't really care to.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't want to read it. I just want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Have a Britney made documentary.
Oh, so
I'd much rather watch a documentary that she played a role in
Mm-hmm.
than have to read a book.
Yeah, I'd watch it, not read it.
Yeah.
So your problem's more with the media, the form of media, rather than the
I mean, I really don't care either. Like Dan said, I honestly don't really care at this point. It's there's been different mockeries of it.
It's been 20 years since
right.
I've actually
right.
was enthralled by her.
Is it that big of a deal anymore? She's been set free. That's what everyone wanted. It was the Free Britney movement that happened. At this point, like, what are we gonna find out that's new? Your dad was abusive. Your family sucks. They all used you for your money. Cool. And it sucks, but I don't think we need a book.
And I think it's good for her for a payday, but I think it might be a little toxic for her to bring up, you know, bad memories. Maybe therapeutic to confront them. Yeah, I actually did not mean that, but yes, touche.
On one today.
But like some might look at it as therapeutic. I don't know if it's a good idea to trudge up the past that you've already kind of triumphed from. Yeah. She's already kind of, you know, exceeded that.
She seems like a hot mess.
Oh, she's a mess, dude. There's no.
She is a hot mess.
But that's another reason why I think this book is kind of intriguing, is because man, you finally get some context to some of these fucking crazy posts on Instagram specifically.
Yeah, her videos are super awkward, and like she's just gotten so
see a video
weird. Yeah, I just want to. I would much rather her make a documentary, put it out on HBO or something. They're great with documentaries, and let's watch it.
I agree.
Books, who's gonna read that?
Okay.
It's not as fun and exciting when you read it anyways.
So Britney inks a $20 million deal to do a documentary on HBO. Are you guys going to watch it?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. So that's the form is the media. It's not so much the story itself.
The movie, I don't think that the media format changes my interest. It's just easier to watch a 2-hour documentary than it is to read a fucking 500-page book.
Yep.
I can
watch
2 hours,
it
in 2
it's
hours
done.
or spend a month reading a book. That's not going to hold my interest, you know?
Yeah, my book still sits on the table.
I've read the first 2 pages. It's great.
The front and the back, the first page and the last
great
page.
prologue.
Have you watched every episode of You though?
Of course.
There's the difference. That's exactly it.
Exactly.
It's a good iPad holder.
It doesn't work well.
I'll get it back someday when the show ends. Anyway,
I guess never. I guess never.
Moving on. So
what about your thoughts? Do you give a shit about Britney Spears? And
I won't read the book just because I'm not. I have no problem with books. I'm currently reading Dave Grohl's book, which is awesome. But the story honestly just doesn't fascinate me that much. I don't know. It's just like family tribulations to me. That's exciting. That's something that I don't get out of bed for.
Now, what if there was a Britney sex tape?
Oh well,
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, shit. I would read a Britney sex book, let alone watch a sex tape.
All right.
But it's not my interest. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Britney Spears fan in the world anyway. I root for her happiness, but like I'm not a huge fan of hers.
She's not really that relevant anymore.
Yeah.
The thing that's kept her relevant is all of this drama.
Yeah.
She hasn't been relevant musically in a long time. I was a fan of her when I was in 7th, 8th grade.
25 years ago this year, dude.
Yeah.
It's been 25 years since the first Britney Spears song.
Yeah, she's not that relevant anymore.
Has it been 25?
25 years, 1997, December.
Yeah. Yes. The drama with her dad and the conservatorship and all that, that's what's kept her in the spotlight and her awkwardness on social media. She hasn't done anything relevant in a long time.
I think obviously it's years since now, but like she had that kind of second comeback right around 2010. I think it was when she released Piece of Me and all those other songs that came out. 3. She got big for a little bit there, Cup of Coffee, but like it didn't touch her original run.
Right.
It's good for fans. I think her fans deserve to know that her perspective on things and how she appreciated the public sticking up for her and keeping her relevant in the public eye so much. So I can understand why Simon & Schuster wants to fork out a payday for it, and they're going to make a lot of money. They'll make that 15 back, no problem.
Oh yeah, there's enough people that will buy that.
Yeah. But transitioning on to video games here for a second. Activision, we've talked about a few times on this show. We've got some more news for them, and it's that once again they have decided to delay the Call of Duty next installment one more time. Dan, I see your eyes light up when I talked about that. Can you give us some insight on this?
Yeah, the most recent one that was released, Vanguard, hasn't been doing very well. So they're pushing back another year the release of the next Call of Duty line because they don't want to flood, since the interest with Vanguard isn't that great. People are they're holding on to those older games,
Warzone,
Modern Warfare, the Warzone. But I also read that they're going to release a multiplayer this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
that seems to be the popular thing, I think, is the online. Like I don't really play any of the campaign of a lot of these games. Like Call of Duty, all I play is the Warzone online. Halo, I downloaded the new Halo. I haven't played the campaign once. I mean, I played it at your house, but like I haven't played it. I play online.
Yeah,
that's like what's fun. So, and that Vanguard or whatever came out, and I haven't even touched it.
Not many people are playing it, so they, with the lack of interest in that, they don't want to push another title out.
So, do you think word of mouth basically plagued that Vanguard game then?
Probably just their numbers. I'm sure they can track like how many downloads it gets or playtime.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not doing well, then why put it out right now? And
people are oversaturate. People are playing the older games. Yeah. They're just more fun. Yeah. They keep adding these updates to them all, keeping them relevant. Their new release stuff nobody really cares about.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing with nostalgia when it comes to gaming, is that you can play a great game once and you can come back to it over and over again because you had fun with it. You remember when you beat it the first time. You remembered the adventures that went with it. Maybe you didn't solve everything that came with it the first time and you want to do it again. That's how Zelda's always been for me, and I'm sure these Call of Duty games are for you guys or your generation. So I get that idea. I get the idea to want to return to something that's safe, that's already been there, that's been proven.
Well, it's like the Halo 4 servers have all been shut down.
Yeah, Halo 3 or 4.
Halo 3 or 4. 3. I can't remember which one it was.
Halo 3.
But they I guess that's what they might, to stay relevant with these newer releases. That might be something that Activision has to take charge in doing.
That doesn't seem like a great move though, does it? I mean,
no.
Piss off your fan base. That
I mean, you got to think what it's got to cost them to continue to keep those available.
Yeah.
And if it's slowly, no one's playing it anymore. It's not video games, but T-Mobile just did, or AT&T
3G
with 3G.
I was actually going to talk about that this week.
We can talk about it then. Whenever.
I mean, I don't have much of a story, but yeah.
Well, I was just going to say the only reason I know about it is because Ashley's dad's on our phone plan, and he called her the other day and he's like, my phone doesn't work anymore. He still has a house phone. I think he called her from the house phone. Like, my phone stopped working.
They just stopped?
They turned his phone. He still has a flip phone, and they turned off 3G, and that's all his phone could do. So they gave him a new phone for free because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But they just turned him off. They no longer the signal works. I don't know how that really works, but similar thing. I mean, if the people are using all iPhones and shit now, and you don't need it.
Yeah.
Just like the video games, why pay to continue to offer the service if it's not being used? I'm sure it's not cheap.
Yeah, I was 3G until 2015, I think it was. And then work bought me an iPhone, and I've been that ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
wild.
Crazy. I mean, yeah, so I see as far as video games go, yeah, they're probably looking at the same field. It costs money to keep this running consistently. And if a bulk of our fans have already played this, they've already defeated it, they're probably not coming back.
Right. It's so weird to think about them canceling 3G too. I remember when that came out, and that was the thing, because they just went from normal phone signal to 3G was the first one.
Yeah,
there wasn't a 2G or anything, and that was a huge deal.
Yeah,
and now it's discontinued.
Yeah,
fuck.
I mean, what did they call it in the Nokia days when it was the big huge phone? Not carved.
LTE. Well, you just had regular phone signal, and then it was LTE, and then it went to the 3G, 4G, 5G.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird.
I don't know. Keep with the times.
I guess Sprint Digital.
Yeah,
I think
they had like their own little like Verizon had a thing, but it was just a regular phone signal. Like it wasn't any of these like upgraded whatever we have now.
Yeah.
High speed 5G that's
Is it
causing
an
people to like
upgrade?
die.
Is it though?
Is it though? I still drop calls. I still have dead zones.
Better server, just more people using
But
it.
I'm on T-Mobile, and as long as I don't live in Nebraska, I should have signal. You ever see those maps?
Yes,
Be
It's
glad
like
you
the
don't.
whole state of Nebraska is
not T-Mobile.
no cell towers.
Does anybody live there?
Horses.
I know director Alexander Payne does.
Okay,
That's about it.
sorry, Chris. We sidetracked. you.
One side note to that story too. This will be the first time in roughly 20 years that Call of Duty has missed a yearly release.
Wow,
So it's a big story, you know.
yeah,
For
that's wild.
probably the biggest franchise or one of the biggest franchises going today.
Yeah.
Let's transition over to movies a little bit. The Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, the second
Mhm.
trailer,
Mm.
was released right around Super Bowl weekend. And it's got some people stirring up some controversy here as far as the imagery and what they're seeing. Now, as we know, this movie kind of dives into universes, picking up the mantle of where Spider-Man kind of just tipped the iceberg there. We're getting everything here. This is the crossing of, you know, universes, the different characters from different timelines, different universes altogether. The big one, the one that's been proven, a lot of these are rumors, but the big one that's been proven, Patrick Stewart, Professor X of the X-Men in the trailer.
Was he in it?
This has been proven. Yes.
What?
This is the one that's proven. Everything else is rumored based on who they think they see. Patrick Stewart has commented on it, and he hasn't so much as confirmed it, but he's given a wink and a nod to basically kind of hint that it may
It's finally
be true.
happening.
Man, guys, as a huge X-Men fan, grew up with the comics, one of only 2 comic books that I read. I am fucking flabbergasted at this. And Doctor Strange of all properties to
Yeah.
introduce this. What do you guys think? Give me some feedback.
Me?
Yeah.
I gotta watch that trailer again, but to see a X-Men crossover into this Marvel universe is like, I'm thrilled for it too.
Yeah.
I've wanted to, I like what they were doing with the Logan, the Wolverine series,
Mhm.
and I want that to come over into this new Marvel universe just to see what it'll bring.
And
So
there's
seeing
been
a-
talk about that too, as far as, is it Jackman or are they going to recast that role if it is?
I think they're gonna recast it, right?
I think you have to at this point,
He's-
because Jackman's already said he doesn't want to come back for anything unless it's an Avengers movie, like an actual Avengers movie.
He wants to be part of that Broadway musical play.
He is a Broadway singer.
I know.
So makes sense.
Leave him alone.
But
Right.
yeah, I think I'm excited to see how they're going to pull that in and how it's going to interact with. I don't want it to be a one and done though.
I don't either. This has to be the introduction. Like this has to be the welcome mat for the X-Men. I agree with that. Ryan, what do you think? Any ideas?
Much like Dan, I have to go back and watch. The Super Bowl was a little chaotic this year, and I missed a lot of the commercials. But
I did too.
Doctor Strange is top 3.
Mhm.
It's probably number 1 or number 2 as far as my favorite Marvel
Wow.
Marvel movies. So I'm excited to see this be brought into his franchise. And I think we've all been kind of waiting for this crossover to happen for a long time. So
Yeah.
it's time to make it happen. It just opens the doors for so much more opportunity. So yeah, I mean, I don't foresee anything negative coming from it. It's interesting that if it's going to be Stewart still, I mean, come on, man, how much more do you have in you at this point?
Yeah.
And Logan, as much as I hate to see that recast, I think he's been vocal about not wanting to come back, that he was done after Logan anyway. So, which sucks. I mean, he's been the Wolverine forever. I mean, how many years at this point now? I mean, he's been the guy. So
7 films.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I mean, I think he's perfect for that role. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm stoked for another Doctor Strange movie. I've been waiting for that for a long time.
I think it's interesting because this comes on the heels, obviously, of Spider-Man: Far From Home, and you know they kind of
Is that the newest one?
yeah, they kind of perfected a formula. You should see it. It's great. They kind of perfected a formula where, you know, bringing back, you know, crossing over these dimensions is sure to put the butts in the seats when it comes to your audience. And I think it doesn't matter if it feels repetitious, but if Doctor Strange does the same thing with this and does it in a way that feels like a Doctor Strange movie, not just a Spider-Man movie or a formulaic MCU film.
Right.
Like, I feel like this will work over and over again. Your audience will continue to keep paying to come back to see this movie again.
Yep.
And you'll have Doctor Strange be up there with Spider-Man as one of the highest grossing MCU movies of all time. So I like this idea. I feel like looking at some of these, I'll run down some of these names here in a second, but looking at some of these names, I hope some of these are wrong. I hope it's just fan speculation, because I feel like your film, just like Spider-Man, I was worried that your film could get convoluted if you bring too many over.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man did it perfectly, but you could tell it was towing trepidation there, as far as we're giving some people more to do. Others were kind of taking a step back and saying they're just background noise, not really integral to the storyline. I think everybody will agree with that's seen Spider-Man, but
I agree.
I agree.
He has no opinion,
or lack thereof. But some of the ones that are rumored, I'm just going to go through this real quick. None of these are confirmed. This is just what the fans think they've seen from the various images on the trailer. Strange Supreme, which is the evil version of Doctor Strange, Zombie Doctor Strange, Defender Strange, America Chavez, Miss America, Professor Charles X is confirmed, obviously, Captain Carter, Haley Atwell. So maybe bring back Captain America's wife there a little bit. Inhuman King Black Colt, Deadpool has been rumored on it, and they've actually asked Ryan Reynolds about this too, because after the whole Patrick Stewart thing broke, he kind of made one of his smart ass comments, and the audience caught on to it and asked him, hey, are you going to be in it too? Ryan Reynolds has not confirmed or denied that he is going to be in this movie. But talk about that cameo.
That's one that I want to happen.
Man, Doctor Strange and Deadpool.
I want that to happen.
How weird would that be?
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
That's way too many.
Wolverine, Storm, and Magneto round out the list, too.
It's a lot of cameos to add in at one time. Like, I'm hoping it's, like you said, just speculation, because that's going to ruin it. If they go overboard like that all at once, it's going to be fucking corny.
Yeah, and that's what you open yourself up to with this
Theories.
Multiverse theory and everything. Is you can pull anybody from anywhere. You can start pulling DC characters in,
right?
Like,
over time, at one point it's fine, but like,
got to be careful.
Drop a couple people into the Doctor Strange one and open it up and see what happens, but don't overdo it all at once, because then it just becomes convoluted at that point, and it's too much.
Yeah.
Even in Avengers, you have so many people going on. It's hard to follow a story. You know, they all like have a little bit of spark in it outside of, Iron Man and Captain America. Everyone else is kind of like hit or miss, but
it's really background noise. Yeah. That's that's the thing with this one. They have to remember too that this is Doctor Strange's movie, so he's first and foremost. He has to be the focus of this movie. The second part is Wanda's in this movie. We know that Wanda Maximoff is a big integral part of this movie, as we saw in some post-credit scenes of previous films. So she's going to be in this movie. She's got to be a big part with her arc, especially coming off the heels of WandaVision.
Yeah.
To me, I'd say you add one or two more in there, like cameos, whether it be Professor X, whether it be Deadpool, that's fine. But I would almost say stop there. I don't care if I don't see Wolverine. It doesn't really matter to me. It's not going to make or break this movie for me one way or the other. I think, though, introducing the founder of the X-Men, Charles Xavier himself, like, this is our welcome out. We are coming through here now, and we're here to stay. That is what's going to make this film memorable.
I think
completely.
I think Doctor Strange, in his own cameo appearances in movies, he gets the audience enthused and excited. Like, people are excited to see him. That's why I think they're not going to stray away from his story with this movie. I think they're going to keep him front and foremost main character, and I think Wanda's going to be that second fiddle. But I don't see that's going to be a problem, keeping it focused on everything that he's got going. He stole part of the show and the movie Ryan hasn't seen.
Yeah, I agree.
So
he was a big part of that movie too. I thought a couple scenes he really stole it.
Yeah.
It's hard to balance all those plates too, man. When you look at it, like, not even so much a movie like that Spider-Man. Look at Spider-Man 3 from Sam Raimi's trilogy, a movie we've all seen, right?
Fuck off.
but like, even that one, it's gotten a bad rep for basically being too convoluted at times. Like, they don't know how to even out the antagonists here. There's a part where it feels like it's Sandman's movie, Sandman, and then it turns into being Venom's movie.
Me?
Yeah, it's your movie.
My movie?
If they tie this in, so if they take this leap, where do we have any connection to any of the, like, okay, so like Logan, is that going to be within the same timeline, or is it going to be like a whole separate thing? You know, like how do they align that?
But because it's Patrick Stewart, you would think it is.
That's why
because it's his likeness.
So where does it go? Like, where does that fall in all of this? You know,
I think
where did that end? I'm trying to think of how Logan ended with.
That was in the future.
Yeah, that was
kind of far into the future.
So he could be like the present now, and Logan is still in the future. That's still years down the line.
Gotcha.
Patrick Stewart hasn't aged in 20 years, so it should be okay to.
Yeah, that always that part
as I do.
It always throws me off though when they add these in. It's like making sure the timeline stays consistent and within line, because otherwise it's like, what the fuck is going on?
No, I agree. As a Friday the 13th fan, I preach that loud and clear. Yeah, I understand. Psyched for it. Nonetheless, I feel like May can't come quick enough. As to where I'm like, I really couldn't care less about Morbius. This is a movie that I really want to fucking see.
Is Morbius out yet?
Morbius is an April Fool's Day. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Fuck you guys.
I can't get into it.
I want to see it.
Doctor Strange looks great though.
I did while on vacation, I bought a very limited to 2,000 pieces Doctor Strange
puzzle
Magic Band.
Oh.
It was limited edition of 2,000. It's got the cast on the bottom half and it dang it, what am I Doctor Strange, the symbol on it too.
Yeah.
So I had to pick it up.
Does it have Rachel McAdams? It should.
I think so. It's whatever the do they have the movie posters out yet?
Oh, so it's for this Doctor Strange.
It's for this Doctor Strange.
Yeah, then I don't think she'd be in it then. No. Yeah, probably not. Then.
No.
It's dope regardless.
Yeah. So moving on. Transitioning. It's TV talk time. Gentlemen.
TV talk.
And this week I want to talk about two shows that one recently wrapped up, one that is on the brink of wrapping up. And the first one is Peacemaker. Peacemaker finished up last Thursday. Did we all watch it or no?
Yes.
Daniel, you're caught up.
I got
the whole
caught up
show.
yesterday.
You're done.
Yep. Yesterday.
Wow.
I think it was yesterday I caught up.
Okay. And Ryan, you said you kind of fell off with the show.
I have not finished, nor care if you talk about it and spoil it for me.
Okay. Why is that?
I haven't lost interest, but I lost interest. Like I got through. It took me like 3 times to watch episode 1. Finally finished it. I was like, this show's awesome. Started episode 2. I think I finished episode 2, but it took me like 3 or 4 times to watch it. I just like I like it, but it's not holding my attention to the point where I'm like not sidetracked with other things. Like there's certain shows like Pam and Tommy comes on, which I mean you would say Peacemaker's way better than Pam and Tommy, probably.
I would right now,
but
especially.
Like that comes on and I have to watch it. Like I can't be sidetracked with other stuff. Like it holds my attention. I've just been struggling with Peacemaker, so I'll get around to finishing it. I don't care if there's spoilers, honestly, because I'll probably forget, nor will it matter to me. So you gentlemen do your thing.
Okay.
It was awesome. Dude, I love that. I love that series. I think it held its own with the Marvel ones that we've seen.
Yeah.
I think it's up there pretty good. And the mature rating, the R rating on it helps it to go a long way. Because and James Gunn. Like
signature style, man.
Yeah. It's crazy what he'll put in a script and what these actors will do. I loved it. I love the show. I love the very end.
Yeah.
Where they're like, about time you guys show up, but we took care of everything.
And who was that?
It was Justice League shows up.
Yep. Yeah.
And they make a crack at Aquaman banging fish.
I don't bang fish. Sure you don't.
But I thought it was great. I loved it.
Gal Gadot make an appearance? Nah.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's
I gotta watch.
It's
specifically. So it's the outline of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Batman's outline. You don't
Superman is floating up.
Superman's outline. You don't see them, but you see Gal Gadot, you see Jason Momoa, and you see the Flash. Can't remember what his name is. But yeah, you see those three, and the Flash has a line, Aquaman has a line. I think Gal just stands
She
there.
just stands there. Yeah.
Do you think Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot are smashing now that he's divorced?
I totally would not be surprised. Honestly, they're both good-looking people, and that would not be a shock to me.
Anyways, that's worth watching just because I don't.
Is she a fish?
No, she's a mermaid.
But yeah,
go on.
No, you were getting to a point.
My point is just that. So the reason I love this show is all about characters, man. It really is, and you know, you can look at that and you can say, oh yeah, that's because the personalities are so vibrant and John Cena's laughable, and you know, what's his name? His best friend, the vigilante, who's my favorite character. He's fucking hilarious too. And they all merge together. No, I'm talking characterization as far as like how these characters change from episode 1 to episode 8. I think it's the beautiful path that James Gunn had for these characters, specifically Peacemaker. You know, he learns a lot of humility along the way. He learns a lot that basically changes him emotionally and physically in a way that we didn't get really in the Suicide Squad. By the end of that movie, he's an asshole. We hate him for a death that he commits late in the movie, and that's kind of where this film picks up. So you're basically brought into this universe hating this man, but by the end of it, man, you can't help but cheer for everything that he does. That's remarkable, man. It's remarkable to change that completely around. I mean, he's a murderer. You know, and he has no shame admitting that too. Yeah, he goes the whole time saying like, "Hey, murder's necessary on certain case by case basis." You know, for
the only one that didn't change was Vigilante. He
Yeah.
stayed true to his character from his first introduction all the way to the end.
He's just an asshole. If he changed, I'd probably be
I
disappointed.
know.
But it's cool to see this family kind of grow together, of this misfit of lost toys. You know, they kind of grow together and become one by the end of this movie. There were a couple of surprises there at the end, not just what Dan talked about with the cameos, but also there were, you know, there's one big death. And then there's one that, man, it looked really close, man. I was really getting ready to get frustrated.
I know. I was too
at the TV, and I was getting mad.
No.
Yeah. And ended up being okay. But yeah, it was a solid finale. I don't know if it was my favorite episode. I'm looking back at all of them, trying to think. They all kind of merge as one movie. That's why I don't think this feels like a TV show as much as it feels like a movie. And that can lend itself to the production that Ryan was talking about earlier this year. That could lend itself to just the symmetry of the storytelling, feeling like a 2-hour film instead of an 8-hour TV show.
Yeah.
I really think this film, it could have been a movie. It feels
like it.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as like weaknesses are very slim for me. I don't have a lot of weaknesses. I just think I kind of wish they would have done more with the dad storyline. Like at the end, it just kind of ended abruptly. I wish there would have been a confrontation there that was more emotional for the Peacemaker. But other than that, I don't.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was quick. It was abrupt, and it just it happened in what, episode 6 or 7. So to me, it wasn't even the big thing. But yeah, other than that, I can forgive that. It looks great, very entertaining. A high recommend for me.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't know why Ryan can't get behind it. This is a show I think he would enjoy watching, but I think he's still stuck on the Suicide Squad.
I hated Suicide Squad, and once I found out that James Gunn was smashing hardcore, that kind of did it in for me. I was like, "Fuck this!"
Engaged to be married, man.
Fuck that guy.
Wow, I had no idea about that till last week when the story broke, and now it all makes sense.
Yeah, that was it. I threw in the towel after that. He ruined it for me.
Speaking of hardcore, I'm kind of glad they didn't go the predictable route with that, as far as she's going to end up with the Peacemaker by the end of this. It was kind of hinted at in episode 2 when they're at the bar with each other and all that. I'm like, it's obvious. This is one of those, you know, formulaic tropes that they introduce into superhero movies. And then maybe they're star-crossed lovers to where, oh, we just can't be together because of a tragedy or something happens. One of us gets killed. But yeah, I know I see that point for sure. But to me, I'm fine with that. It's a hint for future things, the hospital scene, but it's not a full on. They didn't commit to it yet, so I'm cool with it. Maybe hopefully they'll forget about it by next year.
Probably not. They're probably gonna. It's gonna be the main storyline next year.
They're gonna bang. He bangs everything, though.
I know.
Cena's superb.
Eagly, thankfully.
Oh, Eagly, yeah.
Save the show.
And that's what I was talking about. I was not talking about Harcourt, but I was talking about Eagly.
I like Eagly.
Yeah,
The
Eagly
best character on the show.
Yeah, there's a part where I was fucking getting pissed off in this last episode, and thankfully, it was
Eagly
okay.
saves the day.
He was all right. Yeah. So
He almost dies.
he almost dies. Yeah.
Fuck
it
that.
actually looks like he does die.
Kill Cena before you kill Eagly.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, I don't give a fuck who you kill. Kill Vigilante is my favorite character.
But you know, there was a big moment that came out of that,
Yeah.
which
Harcourt
nobody's ever
a
seen.
giant bald eagle poop on her.
No.
On the
Yeah.
On her, she got pooped on her shoulder.
No. Where he was it? He lands on Peacemaker's shoulder and he tries to snap a picture because nobody believes that he just hangs out on his shoulder like
Yeah.
that, like a
No,
friend.
he was given a hug.
Oh yeah.
Eagly, Eagly
hug in
gave
the
him a
garage.
hug.
Oh yeah, and then
If
like
you don't believe in miracles, then that's on you.
because the black lady doesn't believe him. Yeah,
Right.
And then he reaches for the phone and he tries to snap a picture while he's hugging him.
he got a little Eagly selfie hug.
Yeah.
And then
that's cute.
Yeah,
it was good.
It's cute.
it's
Pulled at the
Cry.
heartstrings.
You shed a tear.
Yeah.
Did you shed a tear?
Waterfalls.
when you compare this to like Marvel shows, though, whether that be the Netflix shows, the Disney Plus shows, I really think this stands on its own 2 feet. I think the only thing that I could probably say that I liked more than this was the original Daredevil series on Netflix.
So good.
was amazing, but this is pretty much right there. It goes toe to toe and blow for blow as far as violence goes with that TV show. So I like it. It's a solid, honestly. I'm torn between an 8 and a 9, so I'm just gonna say an 8.5 for right now out of 10.
Dropped it. You
Yeah,
were at a 9.
yeah, I
earlier.
was at a 9. Yeah, I feel like
But
though
you're not adding hope, Chris. Your
Huh?
score's going down. This doesn't make me want to watch the show.
it's still a very
Well,
very
he was
strong.
emotional with his earlier ones,
Yeah,
and now
true.
that you take it all in, you
I've seen the
review
bigger
everything.
picture.
digest. You don't do halves. You got to give it a 9. You got to round
No,
up.
it's
round up.
so tough. I don't. If it's a 9, it's a very weak 9, or it's a very very powerful 8.
I say let's go 9.
Okay,
You don't do halves.
We'll go.
You're not Evan Pooh.
We'll go week 9. We'll go week 9.
All right.
Okay.
I like it.
A-.
69.
Am I giving a rating?
You give a rating.
I think a 9.
9er. We all gave it 9s off the rip because I said it was. I said even just from the first 2 I've seen.
You don't
that
count.
I liked it better.
You don't
than-
count.
I don't. But I still say I liked it more than Marvel.
I don't.
Off 2 episodes, I said I liked it more than Marvel. I said it was the best of the Marvel, like the Marvel one. So
I say even if you're not gonna watch every episode,
I'll
watch
watch it.
the last episode.
no, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Pam and Tommy, I'm caught up on. Euphoria is about to end.
Oh,
Boba Fett's over. I mean, I'm gonna have to have something to watch, so
So-
I'll catch up on Peacemaker.
Real quick, because I've never watched an episode of Boba Fett. I heard it's getting ripped. Like,
Everyone's tearing apart but me. You
Drag-
know me. I like everything.
oh,
so
that's fair enough. But I
Dan
heard
hated
it's
it.
getting dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
they could have done better. I feel like they didn't have a complete story once they went into filming.
I think they put too much focus on the merge of Mandalorian because that's the bread and butter. That's what they focused the show on. And Boba Fett was just an excuse for like a second storyline for Mandalorian, basically.
Yeah.
But I like that, so I didn't really care.
I
But
like
if you went
Mandalorian.
in with the expectation of a Boba Fett show,
Mhm.
it's not what you got.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe someday I'll watch it. For me, like though,
You watched Mando.
I-
Like,
I
you watched
loved
all
Mando.
those. You should
no,
watch.
I
it
loved
then.
Mando, but like Boba Fett to me has always been a character. I'm like, I can do with it, with or
I
without.
like him.
Yeah,
I
he's
like him.
it's okay enough.
That's why
but-
they didn't do justice for him. I feel like they could have given a better
He
show.
deserved more.
and then Obi's
than what
coming
they-
out.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I got sick and tired of Baby Yoda or Grogu.
Dan is the Antichrist.
I
when it comes to
cannot.
Grogu, and he said he hoped he dies.
I
He
cannot
sent us that
stand
video.
People are gonna boycott this show.
the way the ending should have been.
It's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
Oh,
There's
Bye bye, Baby Yoda.
there's enough Boba Fett history that they could have done more. So I mean, it just depends on what your expectations were.
Oh, they didn't. They. It's like they created another, a new storyline for him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't complete.
Yeah.
And
There wasn't.
they
much to
ran
it.
out of. They ran out of focus story for him that they pulled an entire episode of Mandalorian into it.
Yeah.
And
The
then
first like 3.5 or 4 episodes were Boba Fett, And then after that, it became
a Mandalorian.
a Mandalorian
Oh, weird.
show.
It's just the focus was lost on what
Yeah.
Boba Fett was bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to watch it then because I like the Mandalorian.
Yeah. That's why I was saying I really liked the Mandalorian
Mhm.
show. So like to me, this was just kind of like an extension
Mhm.
of that. So I didn't hate it. But if you're a strong Boba Fett fan and you wanted his own story,
That's probably why people are pissed.
and that's not what you're getting. So
Yeah.
I could see being upset about that.
Yeah.
I love they gave a little bit backstory to him, and then they tied the two shows together, and it will probably just continue from there. And I was okay with that, but it's not a standalone Boba Fett like deep character piece like I think people were expecting.
That shows they just didn't have faith in the
Like
character.
Dan
for
said,
me,
I don't
yeah.
think they had they didn't fully fledge out the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
It's like almost like their focus was just to be able to merge it with Mando
Mhm.
because of him being in that.
Well, and
That
he's proven.
They gave an extra property. This was another way for them to make a show and have content.
I hate
you
when
know?
shows do that though. I hate when
Yeah.
they show you something behind the shiny curtain. They go, "Hey, but he's in it, so it must be cool, right?" Hey.
Hey, they got a hot spot of Grogu on the,
That's it. Yeah.
and it's just, oh God, I hate it so
Dan hates
much.
Grogu.
And the other thing too is it's Disney.
Yeah.
Why does Grogu look like a puppet?
Such a hater.
Like it is a Sesame Street puppet
Wow.
in these movies. Like you can do better.
The thoughts and comments of Jesse Young do not reflect the Made to Motivate podcast in any way.
I know they can do better with like I hate it.
Yeah.
It's the movements are too
He just a widow
Uppity.
guy. He just a little baby.
his jump.
He just a widow guy.
The
Look what I can do.
the falling asleep.
He's so cute.
Next to-
Can't
Yeah.
stand it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they got that fan base locked down because I'm not part of it. I'm gonna rename my
Dan prefers
Robot-
Peter Pan.
yeah.
makes the best shoes.
You fuckers.
Speaking of Peter Pan,
Leave
giveaway.
Grogu alone.
Let's get onto a page we can all
Okay.
agree with though. Euphoria, baby. Euphoria. There's one episode left, guys, in this season. We have been through.
You're caught up.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I want to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm not skipping this, man.
I
had
want
a-
to talk about the most recent episode.
I had to pause it on the plane because I wasn't sure where something was going as the beverage cart was coming by. I'm like, I don't know if I want them to see this.
oh,
What a weirdo, man. Watching teenagers fucking all that.
whatever.
Man, we have been through a train wreck for all of the right reasons when it comes to this show. And now with just 60 minutes left,
Bro.
it feels like the world is crumbling around these characters. Guys, I want to know what you thought about this 7th episode. Who wants to start?
You will?
You will.
Oh.
Go ahead.
One, what a turnaround for me, because my thoughts on beginning of season 2, I was kind of like, not
Kinda
loving
so-so.
it.
Yeah.
So this episode I love, but I'm conflicted on.
Okay.
It felt like we didn't gain a lot until the very end, because the whole show, massive spoilers if you have not watched this yet, do not listen. This whole episode was a retelling of what we've already watched, just in the format of a play. There wasn't any new content to the story. So I enjoyed that we got that finally from Lexi. That's her name, right? Lexi?
Yeah.
Because we
Yep.
knew she was building up to this and she was nervous about telling the story, but like we didn't uncover anything new storyline wise.
Mhm.
We just kind of watched the characters be upset about her telling their story. And then the end with Fez and Ash and everything that's going on there, that's what kind of kept me on the edge of my seat. So I didn't hate it. I liked seeing her play in this play and, the characters and how she saw the story and everything. I thought it was very well done. I just wish it furthered the story a little bit more than it did. What the fuck happens with Fez is where I'm at this point. Like, if he's not going to die, there's no way Ashtray allows that to happen. But I hated the way that they left us hanging, because I'm just like, what the fuck?
I don't think it's that. I think we can the episode for Nick this coming.
Yeah.
I think it's the feds come in.
Yeah,
I think he's getting arrested. I don't think
They're not going to kill him.
he's screaming. I think something happens to Ash.
Yeah.
That's where he
Yeah.
freaks out. That's where he's screaming. I think something happened to him.
Yeah. They either all got arrested.
But I don't
like you
think
said, or something.
Fesco is.
There's no way they get rid of him. He's probably one of the most popular characters on the show. He's my favorite character on the show.
Yeah, I don't think he got injured in any way.
Yeah.
One dude didn't have. There's that I don't know his name, but
Yeah. That douchey dude with his
yeah,
fucking weird girlfriend.
yeah,
Fuck her. and her
I think
lips.
he's not
that
going to do
girl's
anything.
So nasty.
She looks like
man.
those candy lips that you get at Halloween. Well, like
Maybe she does something.
She's a
I don't
porn
know,
star
'cause
too in real life.
She wants Fesco.
Yeah.
She wants a piece of him.
Oh, she
so-
definitely does. And I was like, don't hook these two up, man.
no, he's too good. He needs to be fucking Lexi.
Yeah.
I like Lexi's storytelling of it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to criticize it as much as you did.
I think she did a good job with the storytelling.
I think it was.
I just wanted more story from the episode.
I think what the other characters of the show are seeing is how somebody
They're
else,
portrayed.
is seeing the story.
Let's be honest though, the gay bashing working out stuff was over the top. I mean, come on, man.
Well-
He ain't that bad. Like if you're saying like
She
this is
hates
how she
Nate with a
portrays
passion.
She
that.
fucked that guy
Oh
up,
my
man.
God,
Lexi's
man.
cold as
Hearted.
ice, man.
Cold-hearted.
She fucked that. Dude, think about all of the ruthless women that are on this show. And Lexi hit the fucking hardest. I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
That shit was wild, bro. Wild.
She fucking took that bitch out in the back and fucking shot him.
Dude.
Old Yeller style.
I was dying when they
So
showed the
bad.
silhouette of the punching bag and
Yes.
the big dick. Just
Dude.
And they're all thrusting and
Yeah. On the workbenches. Dude,
Oh,
that
it was-
shit was over.
What was it? Was
the
it
top?
Raining Men? What was playing the song?
I can't remember. I think so.
Or no, I Need a Hero. Holding
Yes.
out for a hero.
Yes.
Yeah. Holding out for a hero. Yeah.
Bro. That
Um,
shit was wild.
do you have anything else you wanted to?
though there was one scene that my jaw just dropped.
Which one?
Yeah, what was the
nightmare.
Oh yeah.
that's
Nate's
fucked
nightmare.
up.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
dude.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
that
that was
it was interesting where she went with that and where she took that.
no, she didn't.
Oh, that was his. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
his-
It was his real.
Yeah.
Yeah, the father and all that you're saying.
Yes. Like, did that really happen? Is that why
He has so
Nate
much hate
has
for him.
that much? Like, why he's fucked up that bad?
I think it makes
Because
sense.
of that?
I think it makes sense.
His dad raped him.
Yeah,
You think so?
I think so.
I
His
mean, it
dad,
happens,
his
yeah.
dad is a low life man.
Which brings another point. We haven't seen anything new from Cal.
Yeah.
We have no idea what happened with that photo.
Hold on, don't take over my. Hold on.
Where's it going with the
No, no,
photo,
keep,
Chris?
Keep going. I'm just saying, don't take what I'm gonna say.
No, but but you know, like that's what.
They were
like-
a part of this.
But you know how I said that? I said that last week or the week before, last episode of the episode before, where with Euphoria, it's like every
They
other
show it,
episode.
and then-
Like they tell a story and then it ends with fucking Rue passed out, and then she won't even be a part of the next episode.
Yeah.
And then the next one, and it picks up. Like so, Cal was 2 episodes ago,
Yeah.
wasn't it? At this point?
three episodes ago,
where he fucking pisses all over and leaves.
where he walks out. Yeah, 3 episodes ago.
and it's gone.
Because then you had Rue's breakdown, and then you had the shitty episode last week, which was was the big story on that.
I don't remember.
It was so flat. Like last week was the only episode I
Yeah.
didn't like this season.
But that's the thing. Like that's kind of been their thing with this, and that's what I kind of
Oh,
gathered.
the
from
last
this.
one was or was that? Yeah, it was when what's his face showed back up and cooked dinner and her.
Ali,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
he came back.
dude, Dan just totally opened my eye. I forgot that even happened.
That's what I'm
Seriously.
saying. Like that's how this kind of bounces around. Like
Mhm.
it's been interesting. But anyways, I don't want to steal whatever you were going to talk about
Well,
accidentally.
you
I know accidentally, so I'm
you
going to
tapped on
stop.
Cal, but I thought it was going somewhere else with how you were talking.
No,
First of all, before I say what happened in this episode, I'm just gonna go back to the past a little bit and take credit for something I said a couple episodes
go
ago.
back.
Elliot is not here, guys. He's gone. He's never coming back.
I don't know.
He's gone.
He was.
I don't
Wasn't
know.
he in the?
Cal?
No.
Cal hasn't been around for 3 episodes, so I'm not saying he's gone yet.
Elliot 3 episodes ago was the last time.
Same
he
with
was
Cal.
in This episode.
Same with Cal,
Elliot's
and he ain't gone.
Cal.
He ain't gone.
We need more from Cal. We need more from Cal. Elliot, though, he's like, look, I don't need to be a part of this.
Yeah,
I'm done. He
I'm not
walked
saying
out.
he's not, but I'm not trusting enough because they fucking cut shit off and then it just appears later.
He ain't gonna be in this episode either.
He's gonna be in this last one. He's gonna come and save the day.
Oh God.
He's gonna come in and save Fez and Ash. He's gonna fucking
Something's
blow
gonna
everyone
happen.
up.
Something's
Yeah.
gonna happen with Rue and crazy drug dealer lady.
Yeah,
He's gonna come in.
She's gone too.
Yeah.
She's not
Shit's
gone.
all over the place,
Yeah.
but you don't see him. it's just weird how these big characters
because
disappear.
this last episode was Lexi's episode for the most part.
But
this needs to be longer than one more episode. There's so much still left.
Well, it's impossible. They're not going to wrap everything up this season.
No.
It's not going to happen. There's too many unanswered questions.
To be continued.
Yeah. But that's what keeps a show going. It's season 3 and then season 4. And they've said 4 is rumored to be the last season of this show. So you're going to have 2 more seasons where we have to finish everything up.
Can't get it soon enough either.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah. You're only going to have to wait a year for this. Good luck.
So Eli's gone. What's the rest of the story?
So I love this episode. I see kind of what you were saying as far as the play goes itself, but the one thing that I disagree with is that I feel like the value in the play was that Lexi's kind of defining these relationships. So the big one I look at is Cassie and what's her name? Her former best friend. I always forget this girl's name. Maddie.
Cassie
and Maddie. So like you look at theirs and like we didn't know about the sleepover part. We didn't know about how much like Maddie's childhood was so fucked up. So basically Cassie saved her from that, you know, and I think matters like that, exposition like that pays off immensely for this dynamic because these two are at each other's throats at this current day and time. So I feel like once you know the context of how much their relationship matters to one another, now you're invested into it all the more. You're like, man, these two childhood, you know, it was because of her that she basically saved her life and all this. And it's like, now it matters a little bit more. Now you kind of see it as like, Cassie's not just this bitch who just basically stole this man from Maddie. She's her best friend. It's just, you know, she deserves to be happy too. And she thought she'd go after it for once. So I kind of understand that. And I appreciate that context. That was kind of the point of the plays. It was that we are showing all these different characters and we're showing outlining exposition for every single one of them, giving them value in a way that maybe the show has ignored them for an episode or two, as you were alluding to. But now we're going to come full circle with it here in front of the whole school. And you felt that tenseness the whole show too, because that play is very revealing and it's very, you know, these characters are very vulnerable seeing this happen, play out in front of them. I love the editing of this show. I love the way how it transitions between real life and the play itself. Yeah. Sometimes you can't tell what's what until a character turns around. Then you go, okay, now we're in real life, or, oh, now we're in the play and all that. The editing is perfect on this episode. That finale is a banger, man. It's a banger on more ways than one. The issues with Fez and with Ashtray going on. My prediction, Fez is going to eat it in the last episode.
He die?
I think so.
No way.
I think so.
I don't think so.
Because that whole,
he's too big.
I go back to that line that Lexi says in this past episode where she goes, all my life, I always knew that something bad was going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And like, I think about that. I'm like, well, what's the one thing in her life that is better than anything right now? It's Fez. It's that little relationship, that undefined aspect between them.
Yeah.
Maybe there's feelings there, maybe there's not for me to say, but like that seems to be her escape from everything. He's her inspiration. She looked out to the audience to see if he was going to be there in the seat. He wasn't. It obviously broke her heart. You could tell.
Mm-hmm.
So
because he says he's on his way, like that's all transpiring at the same time as the play. Like all that at the end is going on. So and with this show, what happens after a character triumphs? Rarely happens, but what happens when a character triumphs in this show? Tragedy almost immediately after it. These characters aren't allowed to be happy for too long. It's just not. It's in the rules. Look at the script. It probably says it somewhere. You don't think he just gets busted?
He could.
He dies.
That's possible. He could get busted. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe maybe Cal comes back and busts him. Who knows?
Yeah, I think like Dan alluded to earlier. I think maybe because he's pinned down on the ground.
Yeah,
and he's crying.
I think he's getting arrested.
I mean, that guy was going in with a wire. He was gonna rat them out. Maybe he just gets busted and that's it.
Something bad happens to him.
Something happens for sure.
Ashtray does something to Mustache Dude.
Yeah. He's got the gun, doesn't he, on the couch?
Well, he's creeping from the back room and he comes up with a knife or something.
He had a knife.
Okay. And he's watching.
And he's staring him down. Yeah. So I think Ashtray does something. Mm-hmm. Police raid the...
Yeah.
Because you see in the preview, DA or whatever busting through.
Yeah.
So I think Ashtray goes is either doing something to Mustache Dude. Feds come in, shoot Ashtray.
Guy, by the way, the fucking rat.
Yeah. And I think maybe he's the reason why that DA comes in. Could be.
It's because of that fucking mustachy guy.
Yeah.
Because him and the girlfriend meet up outside and he says he's going to bust him.
I think Ashtray is the one that is going to eat it.
Dude, don't take either of them out. I like them.
I just and I could see maybe like, okay, so here's the thing. If it's Fez getting arrested, the prediction that I have after Ryan kind of opened my eyes to that, if it's that, I can see Ashtray maybe like getting ready to lunge for that dude. Like he's going to take him out and then the fucking cops just bust in, break through the door or something. Like he's that close to just making matters right. And then this shit happens, throws everybody for a fucking whirlwind.
Yeah. Fuck. It needs to be Sunday.
Yeah. It's, I felt like the one thing that a second to last episode has to do, it has to get you ready for that finale. It has to get you to the point where you're getting ready to erupt before seeing
so
this
many
final hour.
open parts though.
There is.
I mean, I know that's because we're going to go into another season.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of open.
There is.
You've got Cal and what happened with the picture, what happened with him walking out.
The little boy.
You've got Rue and her suitcase and all the money she owes and her running away from Crazy Lady.
Yep.
Now you've got Ashtray and Fez. What's going on with them?
Yeah.
You've got Cassie and Matt. There's a lot of open ends, and you can't just go in with. You can't end this with all that's still just waiting.
But the thing
Like
is,
I get wanting to hold on to the next season, but I feel like you can't just
Well,
ignore all that and say, "Oh, wait till next year."
but if you wrap everything up, there is nothing for
Not
next
wrap
year.
it up, but I mean, you think they just leave that shit open ended?
I don't feel like they leave. It depends. There's certain things like obviously Kat and her boyfriend, that whole thing. You're not going to get
No one
closure
cares
on that
about
this
that,
year.
yeah.
maybe. I mean,
You might
after his
really,
performance in the play, she's probably like,
Yeah,
let's go.
Them
It
tight
is true.
shorts.
It's true.
I just, yeah, there's certain things that probably will. Obviously, Rue's always going to be a druggie, or at least for the duration of the show, she's going to be a druggie. That's not going to get resolved
But
this
I feel like
show.
we have to find out what happens with the suitcase lady.
Jules and
I
Rue
don't think you
gonna.
will.
Then-
I don't think you will. I think the big thing this one is going to be the Fez stuff. Whatever happens in that room,
And then
Cassie.
Cassie and Maddie.
and Cassie and Maddie,
And everything else will be
is the big
open.
thing. Yeah.
You know, you think we'll see a Jules Rue hashing that out?
You know, and that's the thing.
Because
that-
they
They had
in
the look.
They had the
That's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
bathroom. We're
There's
like, hey,
so many open parts still.
yeah.
It's a lot.
Well, and that's so certain things can persist long enough. Like Jules and Rue is something that it's an imperfect science. It's going to last forever. I think when this show ends, they're not going to be together.
Right.
I just see that already. They're not good for each other. They don't work
They
together.
shouldn't be together.
So I feel like they can twist that back and forth a couple more seasons, you know, and show how, you know, maybe Rue can finally open her eyes and
Yeah.
say,
I
I need a
don't-
life without you.
I don't need closure on Rue and Jules yet.
Yeah.
I don't need closure on the bigger girl and her weird, awkward boyfriend yet. I would like to see something come from Rue and the suitcase lady. I would like to see something come from Cal. And I would like to know more about, I don't honestly need to see an end to Cassie and Maddie, but like, I want to know where Cal went. I would like to find out about the picture. And I would really like to know if the suitcase lady is going to do anything
I don't
about
think
Rue
so.
owing her money. Those are the two main ones I really want to know about.
I don't
Well,
think
and then
Suitcase Lady's in
Fez
this
and-
episode.
You don't think so
I
at
don't
all?
think-
I don't
I
think
think she's
think
done
she-
till
That's
next
just
year.
so crazy because that was such a big part.
I think that's a bigger part waiting to permeate somewhere
Yeah.
later down the line.
Maybe
It's
they,
like,
a
maybe
bigger
we're giving you hints
glimpsed
right
it
now.
at the end of this episode. Like maybe they flash something about it to remind you of it, but they don't end it.
Maybe. I think though that
Fuck,
whole
man.
selling your body thing was kind of a hint for a future. Like, hey, you've always got money, whether you need it, whether you know it or not. I think that's kind of what they're hinting at somewhere down the
Yeah.
line. It's that we'll always be here.
And I wonder how the play in Lexi's view of Rue, with Rue watching it,
Yep.
how that's going to affect her
Mhm.
mentally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she
Oh,
lit up watching that. Like
Yeah.
Lexi was like my best friend. Like
Yeah.
she was there. She
Eye opening.
So I wonder if there's going to be more to that, like to Rue taking that turn.
mhm. And you raised a good question. So with Cassie at the end of this episode, we see, you know, her and Nate kind of have that scuffle outside. Nate says it's very homophobic and he runs off. He's pissed off, angry. And Cassie looks angry. I mean, you want to talk about like this
Burn
this
school
bitch
down
looks like
angry.
she's Carrie about ready to fucking burn down this
That's what I
whole
was thinking.
gymnasium. Yeah. And like she's just looking through the window. Who's she going after? Is she going after her sister or is she going after Maddie?
Sister.
I think so too. This is going to tear this fucking family apart.
I can't think of another show with so many different plot points
Mhm.
all at one
Yeah.
time. It's
So-
so overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
it's so good, but at the same time, I'm like, there's just too much
Mhm.
at one time that like I need to know what's happening. Like it's just fucking driving
That's a
me
good show though.
nuts, man.
So do you think that Lexi's interpretation of Nate, based off of what Cassie was telling, I'm sure a lot of it came through what Cassie was telling, because Cassie used to hate Nate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like,
But do they all know
She-
about the
I don't-
homophobe side? and
I
all
don't
that?
think so.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I think Lexi's taken it into a,
Interpretation.
what's the word I'm
Spoof?
looking
Mock.
for?
She's spoofing it. Like
She
doesn't know
is,
the
yeah.
truth.
She's like, oh,
She-
these are jocks. This is what they do
This
when
is
they're working out.
stereotype.
Stereotyping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what it is. But Nate is
He
seeing
knows.
it differently
'Cause he knows the
because he's
truth.
been through it.
Yeah.
And Nate was the big football player. He was the eye of the school, like up on a pedestal. I mean, you see it the way he's represented at all the parties, the tallest guy in the room.
That's what I was kind of wondering too, because it's not out that he's like
Right.
homosexual or anything.
Right.
So I think
Not
like,
yet.
I think you're saying that was just her interpretation of that
She was doing it. and
masculinity, like
she
joking.
needed to end that show with a bang, and that's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what she wanted to do. I mean, the whole play led up just to that moment,
Yeah.
And she hit him where it hurts, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
But
unintentionally.
unknowingly.
You've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen Fez go up to him. You've seen his dad Clay go up to him. No, can't shake this guy whatsoever. He's Mr. Cool through everything, laughs through everything, fucking yells back. This little girl fucking hit him where it hurt the hardest because he knew she was the only one who hit the truth spot.
Yeah. He's watching this thinking, I didn't think anybody knew.
Yeah.
And they know when they don't. But that was just how he saw it.
Yeah.
And that's why it struck such a nerve in him.
I don't even think
Really-
Cassie knows.
I was gonna say I don't think anybody really knows though.
They look
Jules
surprised.
is it. I think
Jules?
Jules is it.
Jules and Rue.
Jules, yeah, maybe Rue. That's it though. No one
You
else.
think Maddie didn't know? Because Maddie, I don't know. It looked like,
Well,
like,
Maddie.
she was enjoying. She was like, I know it was probably because it was spewing mud on him,
Yeah.
but she was like, all right.
Yeah. I think because of the slap in the face,
Mhm,
but I don't think she knows yet. Because I don't think anything's gotten out.
mhm.
He got the disc. He gave it to Jules. Nothing.
Well, that was
about-
his dad.
But nothing's come out about that story. No one knows about any of that yet. I don't know. We're gonna find out a lot. I hope this episode. Oh man, I'm just.
Yeah,
ready.
I think it was all unintentional and
Yeah.
it hit him hard. And Cassie, I think, is going to go after her sister,
Mhm.
but she shouldn't, because
she didn't do anything.
Lexi didn't know.
It's just she
Um,
loves being Nate's girl, man, and like
Right.
and now like this looks like this bitch cost her that.
Yeah.
She's gonna go right after her.
And the mom was loving it.
Oh, the
too.
mom was drunk off her ass. She's like, "That's me."
That mom's a nut job, bro.
Yeah, the thing with Nate, going back to that for one more second, is that like the school might not know the truth, and like Lexi might not know the truth, but the thing is, now there's eyes on it.
Yeah.
Now
Now they
it's
wanna know.
Now it's being watched 24 hours a day. Now everything this guy does, we have that context in the back of our head that is he gay? Is he not? We don't know. So they humiliated him, man.
Are they seniors? What grade are they in this show?
I want to say yes.
Okay. Because I'm just curious. Like it's
think
obviously gonna
seniors.
end, and they're gonna graduate, and then where do we kind of go from there? Like,
Yeah. Oh, college, you could open up a whole bag of worms with this show,
Yeah.
They're
man.
not all going to the same place though. They're
yeah, I'm
showing
kind
That's
of
true.
wondering where
I
the
hate
story
that.
goes. Like after, because they got to
Saved-
be. This
Saved
has
by
got to
the
be like
Bell.
the end of school.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck that.
way.
Sorry, Ryan.
I've been watching it. It's great.
Boy Meets World. We all go to the same college.
Jeez.
But yeah, so far, I mean, what do we think, guys? Overall in this season, let's
Oh, it's
I'm hooked.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9 out
Gut
of 10.
wrenches every freaking episode. Like it's crazy
yeah.
how emotionally involved you get into this show.
It's the best show on TV, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've done a fantastic job.
Yeah. All right, guys. One more thing.
Three more.
Three more.
I added 2 more things.
Well, why don't you tell us what your thing is?
I got 2 more I added to Chris before box office hit. So, one, MGK is going to be the newest character added to WWE 2022, the video game.
About this, yeah.
Which I find interesting. I don't know how he gets introduced. I haven't followed wrestling in a while, but why? Do you have any idea? You're big into wrestling. Why he has been picked to be a part of the new game?
First of all, I'm wondering if your other story has something else that has to do with WWE. But so MGK, the only time he's made an appearance on WWE TV was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He was the musical guest at WrestleMania for when John Cena came out to face The Rock. He played Invincible, which is the one MGK song I really like. And that was it. Yeah, I don't understand the rest of this.
I
Maybe
wonder
it's
if there's
just
some tie with him being in Jackass. He's been getting a lot of like hits in Hollywood, dating Megan Fox, and he was in Jackass, and I don't know. He's kind of just been blowing up.
All-Star
lately.
Game. Yeah, he was in the Celebrity Game.
Yeah, so but yeah, he's gonna be the newest
Sucking.
character in WWE, which I find interesting, but cool. I mean, it's another Cleveland, Ohio person gonna be out there in the world, which I think is cool for us. But anyhow, besides that, I want to know who your guys' favorite character is if you've played any wrestling games. Who was your favorite person you always picked? Who was your go-to?
Oh, which game? I mean,
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio Jr.?
I've always picked him.
Are we
Just the
just-
speed and the high flying. I love.
Yeah. Just in general, like I feel like I always had the same person across the board, depending on the game.
I mean, if we're going by,
Mine was always Kane. I picked Kane all the time. Not that he was my favorite person, but I always liked playing him in the video games. I always liked the big boot and just the big dude. Like Kane was always my guy.
The
Kevin
original-
Nash when it was WCW. I used to pick Kevin Nash.
oh yeah, dude, the WCW versus NWO,
Yes.
great games for N64.
Yeah.
Nitro too, really good. Yeah, so you guys are obviously talking about like the early 21st century. So like
Yeah.
somewhere around 2000 to 2005. So if we're going to go with that, I'm going to say Kurt Angle because he was my favorite
Kurt
at that
Angle.
time. I loved Kurt Angle.
Nice.
And he was such a despicable heel. People hated him. He was the
Yeah.
American guy, but people hated him.
He was a douche.
Oh, he was a total douchebag and I loved him.
You remember the two of the guys that I loved, but I also hated was the Steiner brothers.
Oh God, Scott
they
Steiner.
were so bad.
Oh, my
the
God.
bleach blonde hair. What was the one with the bleach blonde hair?
Scott, yeah.
And then what was the other one?
Rick.
Yeah, they are so roided,
Is it
bro.
Scott?
And now
Too hottie.
Rick's son is now in NXT. He's the NXT
Is he?
champion. Yeah, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I always loved Goldberg when it was WCW, and I liked Kevin Nash. And then
Big sexy.
WWF before they merged, I would do Mankind a lot.
Mankind had a great costume.
Yeah, but I always loved Kevin Nash, and I always loved Kane for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. Those are the guys I played.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're gonna get an MGK. I'm sure he's gonna suck. I mean, he's a scrawny little tall dude. I don't know how great of a wrestler he's gonna be, even in a
I
video
hope he's
game.
better at wrestling than he is playing basketball.
Was he bad? Oh, we'll talk about that in sports.
Can I talk about some more WWE news for a second?
Talk it up.
So this week on Raw, it got revealed that like the Mysterios, Ray and his son Dominic, are going to take on The Miz in a tag team match at WrestleMania. And they
From
told
the real world.
yeah, Cleveland's own too.
Wild.
They told The Miz to pick a partner, and his partner got revealed this week on Raw. And I thought you probably heard this
Katy Perry.
above everybody else. No, not Katy Perry.
What? Wishful thinking.
Jake Paul.
Yes.
He's gonna wrestle. Yep.
You hate it.
I fucking
You hate it so
hate it
much.
so bad.
Two
man.
Cleveland boys, baby.
I said this is why I don't watch WWE anymore. This is why I fucking watch AEW all the time.
I love it. When's it gonna happen?
WrestleMania is
Oh.
April like 3rd.
I haven't
think.
watched WrestleMania in so long. Dude,
It's
that's
2 days now, Saturday and
fantastic.
Sunday.
Jake Paul and the Miz. They're
Versus-
gonna whoop their ass.
They will. I agree.
They're gonna whoop their ass. Dude, that's so funny. You guys hate him so much.
It makes
You
no
guys are
sense for the
haters.
Mysterios to win. So,
I mean,
Right.
they don't stand a chance anyways.
and you know what I said? I go on WWE's not their Twitter, but their message board on Facebook, and I said, "Man, that man loves predetermined sports."
Wow.
Everybody, like 45 people, like
Wrestling is real, Chris. You knock it off. The other thing I added is a Netflix show, Love Is Blind. Have any of you guys watched this?
I've heard of this.
None, you've never watched it?
You and a few people rave
I'll
about
premise
this
it
show.
really quick because I just want to ask you. It's not even about the show, but it's about the premise of the show. So I watched it. I watched the first season, which was 2 years ago, I think, at this point because of COVID. And
God.
I just watched it out of boredom, like looking for a show to watch. It came on, and I got sucked in because it's just one of those fucking like drama, true. Like what do they call them?
The dating show?
Yeah, but what is it like? Like what a real world and all that. What are those
Trash
called?
TV?
Yeah, trash TV type thing. I guess what you call it.
There's
But
a
anyways,
word, but
so it's 16
Reality.
girls, reality TV, 16 girls, 16 guys. It's hosted by Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees and his wife.
oh, Vanessa Menino.
She's sexy.
Oh, I'm watching it,
Yeah, she's sexy.
dude. I'm down.
So the premise is that you have you guys ever watched The Circle?
Yeah.
You know how in The Circle at the end they'd have that room where they'd sit in and they would talk to each other, but you didn't know who it was. So like
Oh, you guys talked about this
16
shit.
girls, 16 guys, and you go into a room. There's 16 rooms.
Yeah.
A guy goes on one side, a girl goes on the other. You cannot see each other, and you just date without seeing each other. And the whole premise of the show is that you're looking to get married. You go on the show looking that you want to get married.
God, that's scary.
And you are going to commit to marrying someone strictly off of the connection you make via conversation. You don't ever see them. So you date for, I don't know how long the time frame is.
Probably like
and
5
it's
days.
not always the same person. Like you date all of them, but then like if there's someone that you're connecting with, you can go on dates and like you'll set up that you're going to go back to the same pod and you're going to continue talking more.
What a recipe for disaster.
But so season 1, 4 people got married and 2 are still actually married in real life.
That was 2 years ago.
No, but for 2 years they're still married. This is off of some random person.
Check back in another 2 years.
So look, the one person, hey, some people can't even make it 6 months in a relationship.
This is such
They're
a
married
recipe.
for 2 years.
Oh,
The one is a dorky ass white dude, tall, dorky, thin white dude, and this black chick who you would never think would ever work. And they're fucking killing it. They've started businesses together. Like they're killing the game. But anyway, so
that's what I need.
season 2 is on.
I need to start business.
Season 2 is on. Same thing. A couple of them agreed to get married, whatever. They have a full wedding.
Mhm.
And then like at the wedding, they either say yes or they don't. Some of them actually get married and some of them don't. I want to spoil it in case you guys watch it, whatever.
I'll forget.
But it's reality TV. I believe in watching it that it seems realistically true. Do you think that the whole premise is that we take too much into consideration with the way people look and we could connect to people on a much deeper level if you eliminate that at first? Obviously it plays a part, but do you think that you could go on a show like this and if you had a very strong connection where you truly felt you connected to someone, that you could marry someone without having seen you see them before you agree, obviously, because eventually you say they propose within the pod. They call them pods. So you propose, will you marry me? They say yes. Then they arrange a first meeting, like a first look. And then what happens is you go on a honeymoon for a week and you get to know each other in person and hook up or whatever. And then you live together for a month. They move you into an apartment and you live together for a month and you plan your wedding. And then you get married and you either choose to get married or not. Do you think that's realistic, that you think that that's feasible? Now, let me preface this too.
I think so.
No one on the show is bad looking. It may not be your taste, but there was no one on the show that was like,
Yeah.
you know, like everyone was pretty decently good looking. Some people were really quirky. Some people were really weird. Some were really good looking, and you'd be super lucky if you connected with them in the pod because you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But no one's bad looking. I'm curious though. Like in watching this, I'm like, man, this is wild. Because like I said, I know you guys are joking. Oh, it's only been 2 years, but that's a long time for some people. For a complete stranger. And there's couples that are still married now that got married on season 1.
I think it could work. But if there were ugly people in there, I promise you.
So Love Isn't Blind is what you're saying.
No, it's not.
Until you changed my mind a little bit, that was kind of the direction I was going.
I think if I don't want to offend anybody, but if you're having that communication and the other person, it looked like they get hit by a truck and I connected, we're going to be friends. We're not going more than that.
Okay, so Dan's answer is Love Is Not Blind. Chris,
you chose the perfect shirt for tonight. My thought was, you're naive if you think looks don't play into any relationship.
Of course not.
You have to be attracted to the person that you are going to marry. It is just that simple, dude.
Yeah.
And you're a liar if you think otherwise.
That goes both ways, though.
I agree. But that's also what goes into so if you're with somebody and you only hear them or you only experience their personality and you don't see them, that's a recipe for disaster. But as you said, they meet, they go out on a week or whatever vacation.
They go on a honeymoon for a week to Mexico.
Then
Okay.
they live with them for a
and
month.
then they live with them for a month
Well,
while they plan their wedding.
that's fine. That's a dating.
Yeah.
That's a couple. Yeah. So
But you agree to this. You agree to going to that next step before you ever see them.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But because like to me, like it sounds shitty, but the second I see you, if I'm attracted to you,
Yeah.
I go, cool, let's
Yeah.
explore it. We've already got a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
Let's see if we've got a physical one.
Yeah.
You know, and you go from there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sorry,
I mean,
I can't get it up.
right? No, but I agree with that.
It's not you.
I think the concept is cool because I
Better
think that
conversation.
there are opportunities where there's people that would never have the opportunity off that first immediate just look.
Yeah.
But you get to know someone, and
That's where you said.
I
the other
think
way.
you can be a 6, and you really get to know someone. And personality plays a large part in, I think, the attraction to somebody.
I agree.
And they can be initial 6 off of just looking at them, and you spend a lot of time with them and get to know them, and now they're an 8.
Yeah.
Could be someone that's a 10, and you fucking get to know them,
And they're 2.
they're a fucking Because there's a chick that was on this show who I'm like, God damn, I'm following her on Instagram. And then you watch the show, and I'm like, I'm unfollowing her on Instagram because she's a fucking
right.
cunt.
Yeah.
Like, she's awful.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it goes both ways. I think the concept is very interesting. I think it's cool to see the people that participated and took the leap and watching it kind of unfold, because that first look, like after you're like, man, I fell in love with this person, then you see each other for the first time, and some of them are like, and some of them are like, this is great, you know. But
And it raises a lot of questions in the other direction, because you have to ask yourself, like, look, there's this smoking hot girl that's in front of me, or guy, whatever,
Yep.
who's in front of me. And how much shit am I willing to put up with because I'm really fucking attracted to them?
right.
Like,
So this eliminates that, and then you see them and you're like, well, shit. This is because I mean, there's a couple of them where like they made that connection, they agreed to get married, and then they saw each other and they were both very good looking, and like, well, this is fucking awesome because we already made the emotional connection.
That's
It's
the hard part.
and it's just great that we're both happen to be attracted to each other.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
a very interesting concept. I binged it because I was just that trash TV, but it's interesting to see the train wreck,
I like it
because
though.
some of it is like real bad and awkward, you
Yeah.
know, and then some of it's really interesting to watch.
I
so.
think it would be tougher if you don't get to see them. If you go like, okay, you guys have built a spiritual connection. Now you
Yeah,
have to
no.
make a decision.
right.
That's when I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like,
Right.
it has to be both. It
Yeah.
has to be both.
It's also really interesting just to see how unstable some people are. Like there's a couple people on this season
Mhm.
that I'm like, I would be afraid to be in the same room with you. Like, you are not stable, and how are you on this show? Because I feel like it's unsafe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should check it out if you haven't watched it. It's pretty fun.
2 seasons.
Yeah, this was the second season. And then I didn't realize that from season 1, they released 3 new episodes that are like 2 years later.
Oh,
Like, and you can go back and you can get updates on the couples that got married and they're still together, or like ones that were and that they broke up. They must have recently added those before they released the new season, but they weren't a part of the original season 1.
very euphorious.
Very euphorious. Yeah. So check it out if you're interested in that sort of thing. I found it really interesting to watch though.
Mhm.
Box office hits. What's
yeah.
upsetting? What's new?
Well, we've been 2 weeks off, so like, you know, a lot has changed on the top 5.
So keep bringing that up.
I'm gonna bring it up, yes, but we do have 2 new movies that released last week. Of course, both I've seen. No shock there. We're gonna talk about them a little bit. Kicking it off this week, number 5 on the countdown, down from 2 last week, fell 3 spots, and that's Jackass Forever. $5,200,000. It has a total of 46 million in 3 weeks.
I'm not surprised by that.
I'm not either. I feel like even for pandemic numbers, Jackass audience is still going to be there. I'm going to take one in a minute. 1 second. But $46 million is decent for them. I feel like if it was a normal environment, they probably would have made northward of like $70 million. Might still get there worldwide, but for right now, their run is done. I feel like they're not going to get any higher than 5.
I think that's a cult classic, like a cult movie where like if you're gonna see it, you're going to see it,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna fizzle out, and you'll just watch for like you're going like opening. Like that's a movie where you're hyped at, you're going to see it,
1 week.
and that's it.
Yeah, and that's how it is. Like that
Yeah.
first week, like I said, they were number 2 for 2 weeks. Actually, they were number 1 the first week, then they fell to 2, and now they've fallen to 5.
Yeah.
So yeah. Another big fall on the countdown this week from 1 to 4 this week, fell out of the top spot, and that's Death on the Nile. $6.5 million. Your girl Gal Gadot's newest film. Made a total of 25 million in just 2 weeks. kind of a disappointment so far for a murder mystery, especially with a cast ensemble that big and that deep as far as the names go.
Big and deep, baby.
Yeah, that's the way we like it. I watched the movie. I thought it was just okay. I feel like the first film, Murder on the Orient Express, is better. Knives Out is far better than both, which is not related to this world.
Are they related?
No. Knives Out's a better murder mystery, though, overall. Second Knives Out's coming out this year. So
good.
Keep your eye on that coming out, but we'll see. Yeah, Death on the Nile, it's probably going to make, I mean, it's only 2 weeks so far. I see it making probably around 40 million by the time its run's done, and it'll be out of the top 5 after this week.
Bye.
So up to number 3 this week, or from 4, it actually rose back up to 3. I don't know how this film, it's still doing it. Spider-Man No Way Home, from 4 to 3. This has been on here 10 weeks now, $770 million. It is the 3rd highest Marvel movie of all time, and it is the 6th highest film overall grossing of all time.
Wow.
$770 million.
What's number 1? Do you know? I remember
it was Avatar.
It was Avatar.
Avatar beat Titanic, and then
Dark Knight was one, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
I don't know what it is now.
Oh, you keep going. I'll look it up.
But yeah, so this one keeps going down, then it goes back up. $7.4 million this week, and it's still playing in 2,900 theaters worldwide.
There's still a
Sudi?
chance.
Yeah,
You still have a chance.
you won't see it next D, but it's still playing.
So it's
I think I got
Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Titanic, Star Wars Episode 7. Those are the top 4.
Oh,
And then Avengers Infinity War, then Spider-Man No Way Home, then Jurassic World.
yeah,
Jurassic World's number 7 all time.
it's a big audience, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, people like it.
Avatar's still number 1 though.
I like Jurassic Park.
2.8 billion, almost 2.9 billion.
Yeah,
I saw
That is
something.
insane.
Spider-Man should be on digital soon.
yeah.
I'll just wait for that then.
March 27th, I think, is what it is. It was they released it
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know where I saw it, but
Digital and DVD or Blu-ray, whatever.
Blu-ray will be like a couple weeks later.
Furious 7 is number 10 all time. Furious 7. All right, sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Ugh,
I can't believe Avatar's still number 1
I
though.
could get that vomit out of my mouth now. Horrible fucking movie. Anyway, the top 2 this week are brand new films. So debuting in here at number 2, kind of a big shocker that this movie made this much. $14.8 million for Dog, Channing Tatum's new movie.
It was dog water.
Yeah. This movie, it was okay to me. I didn't think it was anything special. A lot of people are raving about it, that it was different for a dog movie purely because the dog doesn't talk. That's not really a high requirement for any film. It's just treating the dog with respect. But yeah, so $14 million, it kind of makes sense because you got the kid audience, you got the adult audience, but this movie does get mature in certain spots. So I hope parents read the ratings before they saw it, because there's a few scenes like an overdose. There's lots of sexual innuendo. There's a weed scene where he's smoking.
Heyo.
So I'm like, I don't know.
He doesn't do anything with the dog, right?
Daniel.
I can't give everything
Knock
away.
it off.
Then you're not going to want to see the movie.
This isn't Magic Mike.
Speaking of Magic Mike, Kevin Nash is in this movie too. He makes another cameo.
Oh my god.
So yeah, and he probably steals the movie too. But yeah, Dog number 2 this week, which means number 1 video game turn film, Uncharted, $44 million to its name this week in its first week opening.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah,
People got high hopes for them video game movies, man, and they always are a letdown.
that's the thing. I feel like it has 1 week to earn its audience.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it does this week, it's going to fall big next
Well, you're
week.
gonna have a lot of word of mouth after that.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna see it, say it's trash, and then no one goes to see it.
Here's the thing, like, so of the people who have seen it that read my review afterwards, apparently I'm the minority as far as thinking that I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Imagine that.
Well, yeah, I know. But a lot of people are giving it about a 6 out of 10. They're not amazed by it much more. Yeah. And I think that's going to be the general consensus here. I think people are going to think it's okay, but they're not going to say it's great. And that's what I'm tired of with video game movies, mediocrity being acceptable.
I wonder if the initial following was it is because it's Tom Holland.
Yes.
People know that name. They know Spider-Man. They're like, cool,
Yes.
Another Tom Holland movie. We're gonna go see it, knowing nothing about it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this isn't great.
He plays Peter Parker in this movie too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
People have talked about he's this great Nathan Drake. I'm like, I don't see it.
No.
And I know very little about this franchise, but he's not Nathan Drake.
And I was shocked with that casting.
Paul, what's his name? Mark Wahlberg's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not Sully even a fart.
Yeah,
bad.
I think Chris Pratt would have done much better.
He's like he's even like actors of the world year. Or, what's that nomination you get for like when you're like you have such a big impact on the movie world? They give you like a special award.
Hell, we saw Chris Pratt this weekend.
We did. Chris Pratt was awesome. We saw him on the Velocicoaster ride.
Yeah,
That is a phenomenal actor.
Okay. Burn the building down.
I was fearful for riding that ride.
Just off.
I thought the Raptor. Yeah, I thought the Raptors because you're launching out of the.
Hey, we're making a movie
The
about
Den.
BB King. Let's get Chris Pratt.
He would do such a good job.
I think
I don't know if that's
own it.
allowed. I think that's frowned upon.
Now it is. 20 years ago, they would have done it.
If anybody can pull it off, it's him.
But yeah, the whole. I just didn't think that was when
I-
I play the game. I don't see him.
Yeah.
Which one? Holland?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not even.
Yeah.
He's too little.
Yeah. Well, they said it was like a younger Nathan Drake because he's older, I guess, in the games.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
but I saw like some video screens of him, like when they're doing the story, like the exposition scenes in between the games. I'm like, that don't remind me of Tom
Yeah.
Holland at all.
Total fail.
Not at all.
They went with the name, not with the character.
Steroids became a
Exactly.
part of Nathan Drake's future.
Apparently,
Apparently.
kid's not even old enough to work to be at a bar, and he's working in a bar in the movie.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Still has Zendaya.
That's it for Hollywood this week.
Which, by the way, I think he's dating down, but that's just me.
Dating down.
She's not that great.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Zendaya?
Oh no. Oh my god. Okay,
Maybe it's just. Maybe
I know
it's
you
just,
hate the
just
character.
I would say maybe
just-
it's just her character.
Just end
in
the show now.
She's a
Just end
bitch.
it. We're done.
Absolutely. Rue's a bitch.
Cut it.
Maybe it's just her character in the show.
Agreed. But she is.
I thought she
so
was
good.
real sexy in that Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just her character kills me.
I think
Yeah.
it's-
Let me look real quick. Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, okay, I lied. It's just Rue pisses me off so much that it made me hate her. Yeah, she is really cute. That's a weird couple though. Anyhow, that's it for Hollywood.
That's it.
All right, let's do a very sports is quick, but is it quick? What do you guys want to do next? Sports or
I say we do sports.
let's do sports?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk locker room.
Swung on, line to deep left field. It is. Go. 45-40. Run, Williams, run. 20.
Remember when the Browns were good and Jesse did this?
I don't remember the Browns being good, but I remember when Jesse did that.
This is
Speaking of
locker room
LeBron James, locker room talk without Jesse Young. What? How many? Are you
Oh.
beating him at this point? Right?
Double digits.
Yeah.
I think I got him beat now.
Yeah. It's
I'm
been a
gonna have to
while.
look that up. It might be.
Yeah, Jesse, we got to get you back here someday. But we're carrying the torch of sports the best we can. It's not super exciting right now, but we got a couple things about Bron, and well, Bron honestly probably in every single one of these topics that we've got. So, first one is Bron to Cleveland. Do we see this happening? It's in the news, especially after the All-Star game. People are talking. He really wants to play with Bronny. He's trying to make that happen. One of his buddies just got promoted to like assistant GM of the Cavs. So now there's a lot of talk going around that he's going to like finagle his way back in for like his final season. Do you guys think there's any chance Bron comes back to Cleveland and finishes out his career here?
When does Bronny?
I think he's got one more
He
year.
has to play a year of college.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to play 1 year.
Okay,
It will almost align perfectly with his contract with the Lakers ending.
he's a good ball player.
Bronny,
Yes,
he's dope.
Cavs got to start tanking next year if they want a chance to.
Dan took my entire argument.
Yeah, how are they
Sorry.
going to get him?
If LeBron wants to play with his son, it's not going to be in Cleveland
Yeah.
So
unless they give up a lot to get that.
Which
pick.
I mean, they're doing great. Why would they? They would really have to tank, which is going to look real bad.
I think there's a better chance that they play together, but it's not going to be in Cleveland. I think it'll be anywhere where they're a shitty team because Bronny is going to be probably a top 10 pick in any draft.
Do you think that it's more realistic that Bron comes to Cleveland, eliminate Bronny from the equation, comes back and finishes his career here? Or do you think there's a chance that those two actually play together on the same team?
your first question is possible because they have 1-day contracts in the NBA where you can retire as a Cavalier.
Like they did Verdejo.
So if that's your question, yes.
Well, no, I
Sergio?
mean, do you think he comes
Verdejo.
back and plays a season with the Cavs, like his final season?
I don't think he's ever.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he's that guy.
Vendeo.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know his name. Fucking
Anderson
Afro.
Vendeo.
He sucked.
Isn't that a fucking word?
Verdejo.
It's like a bad.
It's been Spanish or
I
something.
think it's a bad word in
I don't know,
Spanish.
it's probably one of those Italian words. They all sound the same.
Pinche pendejo.
So you don't think he has a
I don't think
final
he plays
season
for the
with
Cavs again. No, I think he retires a Cavalier, like signs with
They
them,
do those stupid 1 day.
retire the jersey and all that. Yeah, build a statue outside, but that's it.
So I thought the Cavs were going to continue to suck.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
I thought it was a good chance that LeBron would come back to Cleveland to retire in Cleveland because, I mean, that's where he started his career. I think that's where he would like to finish it.
Yeah.
The way his contract in LA, and I knew that was set up that way for Bronny, get him in a good basketball program.
Sierra Canyon.
LeBron will do his thing for 4 years, and then he'd come back to Cleveland and retire in Cleveland.
Yeah.
It would have been a good possibility if the Cavs didn't start playing so well with the team they've got
Ron's
now.
like, fuck you guys.
A lot has to change in 2 years. A
Yeah.
lot has to change.
Yeah. So
I mean, what if he comes back and takes like a player minimum or something? Dude's got the money.
But still, though, how are the Cavs going to get their hands on Bronny is the question.
I don't know. How
They have to move up in the draft. They could move up in the draft. I mean, they could trade away their future and say, hey, we want the number 6 pick. Please give it to us. We know Bronny's going to go 6. We'll take him.
Yeah.
They could do that. It's possible, but they got to trade away a lot.
Does he have to go draft? Can he go walk on?
No, not a player of that caliber. No, he's too good even right now that they wouldn't. He's a top 10 player right now.
Yeah. I didn't know how any of that works. Some people just do like walk-ons or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
He has to. The old rules, I think it was 2013. They changed it. You have to play a year of college basketball before you're eligible for the NBA.
Yeah.
They did that as a way of like making the transition from high school to the NBA not as imposing on these kids who basically ruin their lives when
It's
they
fucking stupid.
do this.
College is overrated. They should not force anybody to go to college. Say you got to take a year off in between. Fine.
Yeah.
They shouldn't force them to go to college though.
Yeah. They definitely have to elevate their game because high school to pros, that's a big jump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So, anyways, I don't know. People have been gabbing about it, especially after the All-Star game. He was talking Cleveland up and everything. I mean, I'm sure he's just excited to see them doing well. And I'm playing
Hometown
there for
ambiance.
playing there for the All-Star game. It's nostalgic and everything like that for him. So we'll see what comes of that. I mean, I love Bron. I love watching Bron play. I wouldn't mind seeing him play here one more time, before he throws in the towel. So we'll see.
I don't think he finishes with the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think he goes to another team, but I don't think it's going to be Cleveland.
Yeah. More LeBron news is he announced the LeBron James Museum, which is going to be opening 2024, I believe, at the old Tangier, which is now House 33O. So part of that remodel and expansion is going to be a LeBron James Museum, which I think is cool. It's kind of weird to open your own museum, but I mean, his foundation is doing it, but it's still kind of weird.
It's a
I'm
vanity
gonna open
project.
up a Ryan Weiss museum.
Yeah.
so it's of LeBron.
It's the LeBron James Museum.
It's a vanity project.
Yeah, it's gonna. I don't probably the history of LeBron from his St. V days into the NBA. And
Isn't that what St. V is?
Showcase. Yeah, right.
It's a LeBron.
Right. Showcase jerseys and shoes and all that. That kind of thing. But so that's coming. Which the House 330 is coming along really well. They're doing a lot of cool stuff there. They've got the El Paso taco restaurant that they're opening, which is like the first of its kind. El Paso's never done anything like that. So I actually had the opportunity to go volunteer at that 222 Taco Tuesday thing. But we were vacationing and there was no way that was happening, but it would have been cool to go.
My next question was, how was it? Because I knew you would have taken it.
Taco Tuesday. So it was on Tuesday. We were back from vacation.
No, I was saying I was out after vacation. I fucking snoozed, man.
Dan's trying to bust him up.
No, it's true, dude. So that day,
you said
I told Dan yesterday, I didn't leave my house since we got home from vacation Monday night.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about doing the show, dude, and I could tell you were just having no bit of it on Tuesday.
I was out. Like there was no chance. So, but anyway, so he's got that coming. They're opening that El Paso taco restaurant thing at the 330 house and stuff. It's coming along pretty cool.
Is that whole thing going to be 2024, or is it just that part is 2024?
The museum is 2024. Parts of it are already open. And they're still continuing to build inside. They had like a walkthrough event the other day. They already host events and stuff there. It's just not fully like completed and open to the public yet. So it's going to be a little ways before maybe the whole thing is 2024. I'm not sure, like the full final review, like ribbon cutting, that sort of thing. So
I'm trying to find that that poll that Sneakers app put up.
Yeah,
with the shoes that launched for
LeBron,
LeBron,
like 18% or something.
It was like 20% thought that. I'm trying to remember what
I think it was lower than that. It was like, well, maybe it was around
like 20%.
Yeah, said
LeBron. His high school playing days were, I think, the Knights.
Hoban?
20% out of like 30,000 people that voted on the Nike sneakers app for a shoe that just released, thought that he played for Hoban Knights.
That's not
I'm
good.
like, those people should get their sneakers
shit on
app, their account canceled.
Yeah, that's not good.
I was pissed off. We were in line for a ride, and I'm like, what the?
Say he played for Buckdale or Glen Oak or something. At least there's a fucking chance.
It says here that the museum will occupy much of the basement of House 330, which will also be home to restaurants, bars, and retail space when it opens next year. Details about the various exhibits are being worked out with Upper Deck Sports, the trading card and collectibles company that is title sponsor for the museum. So they're going to be the main supporter of the museum. It'll be done by Upper Deck. And then it says visitors will get a chance to walk in LeBron James size 15 shoes as he journeys through life.
15s.
That's a Chris shoe, right?
I'm 16, dude.
The first exhibit space will feature his humble early years growing up in Akron's Spring Hill apartments. The space will explore how growing up in humble surroundings made him the person he is today. The next exhibit will focus on how he honed his basketball skills, winning accolades and championships So yeah, it's like a walk through his life thing. Different exhibits. I'm sure different parts of his, I don't know, things will be showcased through those parts of his life throughout leading up to the NBA, but it'll be a LeBron James thing.
I'm not the fan that you are, but I'm a sucker for a good museum. So
yeah, I think it'll be cool. I mean, I think I'm drawn to LeBron. I didn't love LeBron at first. I thought LeBron was a dick.
Kind of is,
but he's matured a lot, and I think he does a lot of good. Whether it's to make himself look good or not, he still does a lot of good when other people have the opportunity and don't.
You can't debate that.
I love what he does for the community. I participate in the stuff he does through the I Promise School. Through my employer, we're one of the main sponsors. We get to be very proactive in it, and I've seen the impact it has. And I think it's very cool the things he does. Just as awesome that he's a really great basketball player too. And he's from here and it's cool to watch him play.
Arguably the greatest player ever.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. I'm not like a fanboy, I wouldn't say, but I do enjoy, the things that he does and the athlete that he is. And it's cool that he happens to be from here. And it's so close that we get to, participate and be so close to, the way that it impacts our community and stuff like that. So I just enjoy that aspect of it more than anything.
How weird is it that like at this present place and time that you can say the two greatest basketball players on the planet right now were born in Akron, Ohio? That is so fucking weird.
It is weird. Speaking of which, they teamed up at the All-Star game and they won. LeBron James with the Jordan fadeaway.
Last shot. Yep.
I did not see any of the game. Did either of you guys watch the All-Star game?
The whole weekend.
Yeah. How was it?
NBA All-Star game is bar none the best.
Yeah.
Dude, the football one is embarrassing. Yeah. Pro Bowl should be fucking canceled.
How many games were there? So there's the game that's the actual players, and then there's the celebrity one.
Friday night you have the celebrity game and the
shooting
or what's it called? The Rising Stars. That's where the rookies and the sophomores play. And then Saturday you have the skills challenge, you have the 3-point, and you have the slam dunk. And then Sunday you have the actual All-Star game.
I heard the slam dunk was whack.
Worst fucking.
That's what I heard.
Dude. Worst. The one stain on an otherwise perfect weekend. Yeah.
How was the celebrity one? You watched that?
Celebrity one was interesting.
Some interesting names that were participating.
Myles Garrett was in there. Myles looked like a beast, dude. I know y'all are Steeler fans, but Myles Garrett could have balled, dude. He could have been a decent power forward.
I heard he had several points dunks, rebounds. Like he played pretty decent.
Rebound the shit out of that ball, man.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, he reminded me of Barkley. Like when the way he used to rebound, he reminded me of Charles.
Yeah.
As Dan alluded to earlier, MGK was terrible.
Yeah.
Awful.
Not a good basketball player.
Horrible shot.
Missing
Dude.
layups.
Yeah.
Like under the hoop layups.
Let's
I
be honest,
heard.
he doesn't look like a basketball player.
No.
I mean, that's a scrawny white dudes aren't great at basketball as it is.
Mm-mm.
And then you got that dude. And I'm not gonna lie, some of them close up of Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah.
She wasn't looking that great as I thought she was. She
isn't
looks a little
she-
beat down.
She's got to be close to, isn't she 45 or something?
She's up there.
Yeah.
She's up there.
So I watched that. There was one funny scene during the celebrity game where there's a celebrity YouTuber, Britney Elena. She's fucking smoking hot. So she's waiting for another guy who's at the free throw line. He's shooting, and she goes up to him and kind of, pats his back and says like, good shot and all that, like they typically do when they're at the free throw line. He goes back with his left hand, unaware that it's a woman, and slaps her right in the
titties.
And you can see her. She goes like, she reacts. She's like,
it was just a tap, a punt. It was a friend thing. Like
and so now YouTube's making a big deal of it, obviously, that he
grabbed her
touched a
boob.
girl's breasts and
wow.
all that.
This is why we can't have co-ed sports.
That's 100% true. Yeah, that was interesting. Honestly, my big attraction is the Saturday night stuff. I love the 3-point contest. What?
You guys are awful.
Huh?
Megan Fox,
How old is she?
35.
Really?
I didn't say 45. I just said she was older.
I did. I said 45.
I didn't know she was that young though. I didn't know she was that young.
Got to be getting up there though.
She's
All right.
getting up on that pole. Anyways,
3-point contest, excellent.
yeah.
One of the best I've ever seen. Carl Anthony Towns, former Kentucky boy, won it. Center winning the 3-point contest
Wow.
never happens.
Yeah.
So that was remarkable. He had a 30 in the final round, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-point contest was great. The skills challenge was pretty good. The Cleveland boys were owning it there for a while, but then the Antetokounmpos took over and dominated. And then the game itself, the All-Star game, one of the funnest games of the year. No defense, but it's still they make a game out of it. It feels like a legit pickup game.
Yeah.
And yeah, LeBron looked pretty good. First half he was a little shaky. Second half he turned it on. Steph was on from bell to bell, dude. The dude set a record, 16 3-pointers.
He sucks.
Wow. I mean, 2 points within the All-Star game high, which was set by Anthony Davis 2 years prior. It was a hell of a game.
How do they pick the captains?
So what happens?
How did
is
LeBron get it over Steph or whatever?
Fan voting.
the two most votes. Yeah, I get it. So LeBron has always been first. And then this year it was Kevin Durant was number 2. And Kevin Durant wasn't there. He had his grandma passed away that night. He wasn't going to play anyway. He's injured.
Yeah, I would say he's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah. So what happens is they pick teams on TNT. They do like a live public cast where they go through all the players and say who they're going to pick.
Who was the other team? It was LeBron and who?
Durant.
Yeah,
Kevin
Oh,
Durant.
he got it even when he didn't play.
Yeah.
I don't know if they passed it. I don't know if they passed it on to someone else. Figured he had to be there.
It's fucked up.
He had to be
Anyway.
present to be the captain.
But
In
like
your honor.
looking at the lineups though, when they picked them, I was like, LeBron's team is going to spank the shit out of Durant's. Like these teams
Barely.
are so uneven, it's ridiculous. But Durant's team for a lot of that game led,
Yeah.
and I was very shocked. The end though, like I said, it was a combination of LeBron and Steph, and DeRozan even played good down the stretch.
Akron boys.
Pulled it off.
Did LeBron travel that last shot?
LeBron's known for traveling, just like he's known for fucking.
Yeah,
There were a
flopping
couple
himself.
travels in that game. There were definitely a couple because I was
But then it
watching
didn't
them,
get called.
and I was like, dude, that's a travel right there. That was 4 steps.
He took a step, like he was pivoted. He took a step or 2 before he started dribbling.
You can do it if you re-dribble, but like you can't pivot and then pivot.
I think he pivoted.
Yeah, you can't.
No. Yeah, he did because he was dribbling, then he stopped, pivoted, took a step, and threw it. Like it wasn't like a Euro step or anything like that. That fadeaway.
Yeah,
He kind of
I
it
remember
looked
the
like a
shot, but
travel.
I'll have to see it again. There were a few travels in the game though. Yeah, the refs I think they called 4 fouls the whole game, and they were all in the 4th quarter.
They kind of let stuff slide.
Yeah,
man.
when
It's
you're
a
getting-
fun game and
Yeah,
Sounds like the Cincinnati's 4th quarter.
wow.
And no penalty flags all game, and then Cincinnati's about to win it. And
Yeah,
then
we
boom,
didn't
boom,
talk
boom,
about-
boom, boom.
we didn't talk about that game. Last episode was before this, so yeah. For a second, Super Bowl talk.
We haven't talked Super Bowl.
We haven't talked yet. No. Yeah. So I picked the Rams, obviously. I was the one guy, but like, here's the thing. Cincinnati controlled 80% of that game. Solid. What the fuck were you doing in the fourth quarter, man? Just went to sleep and they gave him back as many chances as they could. I'm like, if Matt Stafford doesn't win it here in this fourth time that he's had the ball, he don't deserve to be a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
No, you're right. 100%. The chances were given. Like there's some very, very, very questionable pass interference calls
I would say both sides.
at the end when it
Yeah.
really came down to it.
Yeah.
That's little.
And we don't have horses in this game. Like
No.
this is just two people watching.
Yes, that
two
was
teams we don't care about.
that was a face mask on the touchdown catch.
Yes.
In the first quarter.
Yes.
That didn't get called, but to right that error that late in the game when it came down,
When it matters. Yeah.
yeah, there's some strings being pulled there.
It hurts. Yeah. I would say there was an influence that people definitely wanted LA to win for sure. I wouldn't say it wasn't an entirely dirty ref game though, because like I said, there were bad calls on both. It's a football game. When you watch an NFL game, you should get it through your head that like you're probably going to see 3 or 4 really bad calls. One of them is probably going to end in controversy. That's the NFL these days. They don't do anything to fucking fix these refs. So,
and then people finding the photoshopped pictures of Aaron Donald offsides on the last play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't off. They said he was lined up offsides. They didn't call it.
I
It's like, well,
didn't see that.
If Burrow would have had a little bit more time to throw the ball,
If they would have
Chase was wide open down the right-hand side.
Oh yeah, there was nobody.
Wide open.
Dude, Jalen Ramsey had a difficult
He
time
slipped,
guarding him.
fell. Like if he had like 2 seconds longer,
Yeah,
that the game would have been over. Cincinnati would have won it.
Yeah, Jamar Chase should have been like the star of that game, and early on it looked like he was going to be, but they just didn't hook him up enough. I don't know why.
What about that halftime show?
Great halftime show. Thoroughly enjoyed
What
it.
did you give it? What do you rank it? What do you score it? What's the review rating?
It's Mason, who was a guest on this show, asked me if it was in my top 5 halftime shows of all time, and I said yes. I got it right up there with like the Prince one, the famous MTV halftime with Justin and Aerosmith and all that. Yeah, I have it up there. I thought it was good enough. My one problem with it was the song selections were a little weak, and I feel like you have too many guests. I think you kind of touched on this. Too many guests kind of water down the returns. So if you have 6 people fighting for 10 minutes of airtime, you're going to feel the sting a little bit there.
I was underwhelmed. I was on the minority side.
Yeah.
I had such high hopes. Everyone had such high hopes for it with the lineup that they talked about. I know the dudes are older, but the energy level wasn't there for me. The nostalgic value was great. I mean, I've never got to see Eminem live. That's one person I'll always regret never seeing a concert.
Yeah.
So seeing him, Snoop, and Dre perform live all together was very cool. I would have been fine with just the 3 of them. Didn't need Blige, did not need Kendrick Lamar, did not need 50 Cent. Not that they're not talented, but I don't think that they needed to be there.
50 wasn't even advertised.
Yeah. I give those 3. That's what everyone was excited about. No one was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see fucking Mary J. Blige.
He didn't know he was going to be there. He was in his trailer working out.
It looked like it.
and they just pulled it onto the field and opened it up. And then he's like, oh, I guess I got to do this.
That's the thing. That trailer too, like, I think it took away from the performances because there was too much they were trying to shift in between through. I felt if you just had a stage, just let them perform, they would have, echoed off each other very well. And that energy would have transpired more.
All anybody wanted to see was the 3 of them perform. That's all we cared about. Give them the whole show, just the 3 of them. And the song selection wasn't great. Like you said, the Snoop and Dre did their thing, but there were so many songs that Eminem could have been a part of that they could have done.
Yeah.
He picked the 8 Mile song probably because it's the most family friendly. I mean, most of his music is not really family friendly.
You could argue it's his biggest because it won an Oscar.
But he has such a big catalog.
Mhm.
That's the well-known. You've seen the movie. That's why they picked it. But I don't know. I didn't hate it, but it didn't live up to my expectation. Sadly, I didn't love it as much as I was hoping to. Daniel, did you love it? You give it a top 5.
Yeah, I'd probably be top 5.
Top 5.
I mean, what else do you put in there?
Right.
There's been so many bad Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah, here's my gripe is I wish I would have been able to watch the Super Bowl halftime show without banter in the background.
Yeah, it was everyone fucking talking.
That was,
Dude,
no comment.
a couple of us were sitting there like, can we just watch? Can we just enjoy this? I don't know what the volume level for that halftime show was so bad.
yeah.
Like my sound bar was almost all the way up.
Yeah.
Shit.
I watched videos of people that were there and that like filmed it and they couldn't even hear it. Like we can hear it because it's projected through the stadium sound to our TVs, but like people in the audience were like video recording it and it was like barely.
75, 80,000 people.
I'd be so pissed
Yeah.
to not even get to see that or to hear them perform.
Yeah, the acoustics are horrible in that place.
But yeah,
I kept turning it up.
and then everyone kept talking louder.
I know. It's like, just let us watch it.
Hey, Dan, I don't think you're hearing me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. I mean, and Pepsi's no longer
They're
the
done.
halftime sponsor.
Coke took it over.
No, I mean maybe
Why'd Pepsi let it go?
their contract was up.
Because of Dan.
It was a 10-year contract. Yeah,
I thought maybe it was because they were getting shit for letting Snoop Dogg and his shoot up the cops and smoke weed lyrics.
Nope. Their contract was up. They weren't gonna. It's $50 million for that 12 to 15 minute.
I know.
Obviously, there's the advertising that goes around it, like commercials and stuff like that. But I think what I saw is like Amazon might be
Shocker.
going for it, or
Surprised it's not crypto.
crypto.
Is it going to be crypto?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not crypto.
Fortune favors.
Fortune favors the
So,
fucking rich.
Yeah, just the 10-year contract was up. They didn't want to renew it, so they're putting
And the
another.
Pepsi halftime show forever, man. It feels
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's wild.
I mean, far back, even like I said, that 01 NSYNC year, that was Pepsi. Yeah.
Super Bowl. Yeah. So we had that happened since the last show, apparently. Whoops. All-Star game.
The baseball All-Star game too. Do we got to talk about that?
No one cares about
we
baseball.
missed that one
No one
since we've been
It
off.
was fucking July.
Fuck you guys. Bunch of haters. The last thing on this list, Chris will run the show with because I know nothing about, is the NBA 75 list.
Yep.
What is? All right, Chris, hit us with it.
So basically, ESPN. Well, first of all, the NBA did their 75th anniversary, the 75 best players of all time. So at halftime, they had the 75 greats come out and basically do a ceremony for all the fans.
You
And
want to hit us with like the top 10, maybe?
I'm looking it up right now. Sorry, I forgot that this was part of it.
He forgot. He told me to add it though.
I did, but I forgot to add it.
I'm gonna say LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Are these any order for you?
No.
Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley.
Was it Oscar
3
Robertson?
more.
Is that
Will
Oscar?
Chamberlain. 2 more. I don't know the other 2. Those are 8 in some way or form in the top 10.
I'm gonna say 10 through 11 or 20 through 11 first, and then we can say which of those 10 we think should have been in the top 10.
Okay.
Okay. Number 20, Elgin Baylor, old time player, 58 through 60. Jerry West, number 19.
Mhm.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, number 18. That was kind of a shocker that he was
Yeah.
that high this fast. He's a great player, but
yeah.
that high this fast, man, was a little shocking for me. This one was tragically misplaced, too low. Dirk Nowitzki, number 17, should be a lot higher.
Yeah.
I think he should be just outside the top 10.
Yeah.
This one, another one too, because I'm a big supporter of this guy. Number 16, Steph Curry.
16.
Yeah, I think this is a top 10
Wow.
already.
Yeah. Wow.
I really do. I mean, he's a 3-time NBA champion, a 2-time All-Star, and he's not even 32.
Yeah. That's high for him.
Moses Malone, 15. Julius Irving, 14. Dr. J. 13, Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 12, Kevin Durant.
Durant, number 12.
Yep.
Wow.
Number 11, this is one that Jesse and I both have a problem with. Shaquille O'Neal
He's number 11.
should be in the top 10.
Oh yeah, I thought
Yeah.
for sure.
He's the most dominant center of all time. They changed the landscape for centers as a whole. They had to
Wow.
change the game just so they could figure out a way to guard him.
Yeah.
definitely belongs in the top 10. I don't agree with that whatsoever. So now up to the top 10 right away.
This one.
What?
Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. Number 10 is the one I have the biggest problem with.
Me too.
Kobe Bryant.
Wow. Yeah,
This
he's top
one,
5.
way too low.
Top
Way
5.
too low.
There's no dude. He's a 5-time NBA champion. He's a 4-time MVP. 25 points per game over his career. Played 20 years for the Lakers.
Where do you place him? Top 5?
Yeah.
I have him at 3.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say top 5. Yeah.
I have him at 3.
Wow. Top number 10.
I think that's
respect.
Wait, he's the best Laker of all time.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah, way too low. Number 9, Oscar Robertson. He wouldn't be in my top 10. He's a great player. I felt that as far as like, if you look at the first 10 years of the NBA, Oscar Robertson might be the best player with Bill Russell, and Kareem too, up there. But now there's been so much has changed. I don't think Oscar Robertson's a top 10 NBA player of all time. Shaq's better than him.
Wow.
Number 8, Tim Duncan. I like this pick.
Tim Duncan, I'm going with.
Tim Duncan, man, talk about a guy who's underrated. I mean, this guy doesn't get a lot of love when it comes to the best of all time talk, but totally the best power forward of all time, without question. Changed the perception for San Antonio. I mean, they became a dynasty when he hit there. Number 7, Larry Bird, Larry Legend. I like this pick. I wouldn't mind number 6 even. I don't think Larry Bird's a top 5 because I think Magic's better, but I think Larry's right there. He's right outside that top 5 arc. Number 6, Bill Russell. I like this pick for top 10, but he'd be a little lower for me, probably around 8 or 9. Number 5 is Wilt Chamberlain. I think Wilt Chamberlain's very overrated. So as to where Jesse has always said that Kobe Bryant is overrated, I think Wilt Chamberlain's very overrated. Wilt Chamberlain could do one thing, and that was score. He could score, and that's because he took 48 shots a night. It's fine for, the time and all that, but considering defense has evolved as much as it has, Wilt Chamberlain today wouldn't do shit against these guys. And he's a 7-foot center. He would not have done shit against these guys today. He wasn't very mobile, and for him to be number 5, I don't agree with it at all. Number 4, Magic Johnson.
I like it.
Yeah, 4 is good. I would say 4 or 5. I'm fine with Magic Johnson being right there. Top 5 for sure. Best passer ever in NBA history, without a question. Totally selfless. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest scorer in NBA history, all-time scoring leader. LeBron only trails him and Karl Malone.
Say for not much longer.
Yeah. But as far as overall points go, LeBron is the leader for playoffs included. He is the current leader for all-time points. Kareem's at number 3. I'm fine with him being, I'd say Kobe's 3, Kareem's 4. I'm fine with that. LeBron James is at number 2.
Wow.
And Michael Jordan is at number 1.
Wow.
Those I agree with.
Can't do it. You can't make it. Can't make that number 1 spot.
What's to me, and that's the question. So what does LeBron have to do at this point for a journalist to finally say, okay, he's better than Michael? You think more than
Rings.
Or he needs 6?
He needs the rings.
He needs 6?
He needs to at least match him. I think if he matches him rings, he has already surpassed him in so much more. But I think overall they're looking at that rings, man, and he's got the 6 rings.
He's got 4 right now.
Yep.
And like,
if he can get 2 more, I think that he gets number 1. LeBron Jordan's got 3 game back-to-back series.
Yeah.
I think that's too much. We don't agree that rings is everything, but too many people look at, you need the rings. That's your overall.
Yeah.
Being the best of all time.
And there's still going to be an asterisk on it. Like, who did you do it with?
Yeah.
Your supporting cast is a bunch of all-stars that Jordan did have all-stars playing with him, but not to the caliber that LeBron, that today's basketball league is set up like.
Yeah. I think there's 2 different ways to look at this. I think if they went one-on-one, I think LeBron beats him in his prime. I think LeBron is a more dominant physical player.
So much bigger.
But I think you look at it, though, that doesn't always translate to who was the best player, because we're talking about how they treated the rest of the league, how they dominated the rest of the league. Jordan in his prime was a phenomenon. People watched this guy and they were in awe of him. Give him the ball with 5 seconds left and people were terrified. LeBron James didn't earn that status for a long time. He's still not one of the best last-second clutch shooters that there ever was. I wouldn't even have him in the top 10 of that respect, but he's earned his confidence a little bit. I think what LeBron has to do, though, to top this, to even have a chance at it, first of all, he has to win the scoring title. He has to beat Kareem's record. That's the first thing, which I think he's going to do in a couple seasons. I think he has to win 1 more ring. I don't need 6, but I need 5.
Yeah.
Because I consider Kobe Bryant one of the best players of all time. He has 5, but the 1960s Celtics had 10.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about rings or everything, the 1960s Celtics are the best teams, players, everything of all time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Jordan was a more calculated and like direct player.
Yeah.
Where I think LeBron is more well-rounded all around.
Yeah. Bron's a better body.
Yeah.
He's built like a horse,
But
man.
like you said, I mean, Jordan in the moment when necessary, you could count on him for the success.
Yeah.
That's a battle I don't think we ever win.
No.
But as far as their list, I agree with you. At least one more ring, if not 2, for him for them to give him that spot.
I will call him the best. You will hear it out of my mouth first when he wins a 5th and he wins that scoring title.
Yeah.
When that happens, you will hear me say it.
I mean, he surpassed Jordan in pretty much everything, though, other than rings.
No, statistic wise, he's far better.
So I don't know to why so many. That's not enough.
I think
you line them up on paper. LeBron's beat every one of Jordan's stats.
Well, nostalgia,
pretty much, other than the rings.
Nostalgia is certainly a contributor.
Of
we were all
course.
kids when Jordan played, and we remember that presence, and we remember Be Like Mike and the TV perception and all that. Plus, Jordan was thought of as, he was a ruthless guy, but he was also thought of as this kind guy on TV perception that, you know, fans would watch him and they go, man, I want to be like Mike, and Mike's cool and all that. LeBron
and his Space Jam,
his PR takes a beating anymore because everything is so politicized and everything like that. It's unfortunate, but it's just the eras that they grew up in.
Even after the Last Dance documentary, though, you don't think that hurt Michael's perception of Michael at all?
I think we always knew Michael was competitive, but I don't think it hurt his image. I think people still look at him in awe, because if they didn't, you wouldn't hear as many claps as you heard at the All-Star game. You would hear boos, and you would hear, God, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about how they're shocked that he showed up.
Yeah. Because he is the last minute.
Well, and he wasn't shown, like, so they did the pre-show 2 hours beforehand, and they were showing everybody backstage, and they were all hugging and taking pictures. They never showed Jordan one time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's not there.
Well, he came right from something in
NASCAR
Florida.
race.
He came right from NASCAR.
Oh.
So he was at the Daytona 500
No shit.
the whole day. He flew right from there to Cleveland. Like,
That makes
he had
sense.
just got there. Like, he was not there. That's why you didn't see him
All weekend. You didn't see him in the
He was in the
crowd.
Daytona 500. He cared about that in the All-Star weekend. Yikes.
NASCAR's boring.
Daytona 5 is the ladies, is what he was there for.
Oh,
they
yeah.
get pretty wild down at the Daytona 500.
Truth.
But that's pretty wild. You're the greatest of all time. You don't even show up for the fucking like the 75th anniversary of all things.
He showed up when he needed to.
By the way, sad enough, 33 of those 75 players are either dead or didn't show up for that ceremony. I counted it myself when I watched the ceremony.
That's wild.
Yep.
Wild. Yeah. So yeah, NBA 75. LeBron James number 2. Kobe disrespectful.
Yeah, I agree.
He's definitely should be better. Than
10's
10.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that dude was good, man. That's wild.
Yeah, it's like when you go to shoot a piece of paper in the trash can.
Kobe.
You don't say Wilt.
Nope.
You don't
You never say
say
Jordan.
Larry. You don't say
That's true.
Michael. You don't
Bron.
say Kobe.
You say Bron when you trip over your own shoes and fall.
Oh,
I will make the case for Kobe right now. He lost Shaq and still won 2 rings by himself.
Yeah.
End of story.
It was fantastic play,
Yeah.
man. That's wild.
Who was the second best player on those team? Paul Gasol.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Let's get social.
yeah.
Anything on
No,
sports?
I'm gonna go home.
Anything else? No. Going once. Going twice.
Push that button.
It is July 20th, 1969.
Push it, baby.
Man is about to land on the moon.
Commercial.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be
I
defended.
want to change that.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The way the news goes.
Let's get social.
That's probably the worst commercial of the Super Bowl, by the way.
Which one?
The Doritos push.
Stupid.
See, I didn't see most of
They
them.
weren't good this year.
I was at a loud bar and I couldn't hear shit.
I remember when the commercials used to be like what everyone looked forward to, and this
Yeah.
year
What was it? The car commercials that like reigned
they
supreme.
won it this year. Yeah, for sure. Car commercials were real good this year.
Mm.
Can't
you
buy
can't buy
one,
'em.
but you can watch them on TV.
And we're probably not going to be able to buy one with what's going on in the world.
Yikes. Yeah. What is going on in the world? Well, we'll start with the second topic first, because the other ones, I don't know how long it will last or not.
Pretty
last,
meaty.
But, so apparently, Johnson & Johnson, amongst other large pharmaceutical companies, have settled a major lawsuit, $26 billion settlement,
Jesus.
for the role that they played in the opioid crisis. So for a while now, there's been talk and fingers pointed at these pharmaceutical companies for the way that they utilize these drugs, or the way that they were prescribed to people that were going through certain things, as it kind of being the kickstart to the addiction to opioid. And it's been fought for a long time, but they've been kept pushing at it, and they've taken a small amount of ownership in their negligence and have agreed to the settlement.
Wow.
Which I think is a size. I mean, 26 to them, that's nothing. I mean, it's a pharmaceutical company, especially when there's 4 that are splitting this.
I mean, you said billion though.
Yeah, 4 of the largest corporations have agreed to roughly $26 billion to settle lawsuits linked to claims their business practices helped fuel the deadly opioid crisis. Johnson & Johnson will contribute $5 billion to the settlement. AmerisourceBergen, Cardinal Health, and McKesson will pay a combined $21 billion between the 3 of them.
McKesson's
So Johnson's the biggest name there that we will probably be familiar with.
Yeah.
But good to hold the accountability. I mean, there's definitely been times where more often than not that I question the way the pharmaceutical industry works and their greed and everything, and the way that they kind of push stuff because they get kickbacks. Same thing with like doctors giving out certain drugs because they get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies for how many samples they give out or whatever. You know,
there's so much money flowing, man.
So much money, man. So I just found it's good to see this type of stuff when these companies just become held accountable for it. You know, what relevance does it have now, or what good does it do now? Not much, other than they're not untouchable. You know, it just sets the precedent that they've got to be, you know, more aware of the things that they're doing and the actions the way that their actions impact society and stuff. So although not a huge amount of money to them, it still says like, you're in the wrong, and it'll catch up to you eventually, you know.
Maybe I missed it in that story. Like, what was the objective that got them to say like, oh, we're wrong. We're definitely wrong. So here's the money.
I'd have to read through it a little bit more, but it probably just the continued pressure. It's been an ongoing thing for several years now where I don't know if it's like an individualized group or different groups of people. You know, there's a lot of the, what do they call it? There's a lot of these like backed organizations that are for like against opioid, or, you know, families who have dealt with it, you know, that
just
are
bad PR and they wanted to get it off there.
Exactly. It's just been a continued thing. And you eventually get to that point to settle it, not go to court, settle off the books, you know, and I'm sure that for them as a business, it's probably better for them just to settle than to have lawsuits and then class action and people jump on board with deaths and things like that. So
for $26 billion, I'll tell you that Chris Pratt is the greatest actor working today.
I mean, you should get paid for telling the truth.
Yeah, like $5.
Everyone should be rewarded for telling the truth.
I mean, that's all you need for truth.
If you want to read further into it, as far as what, like to Chris's point, you know, what finally allotted them to take the blame or take the fault or agree to settle. You can look it up online. Opioid settlement, you know, I'm sure you'll be able to find it, but it's just good to see. I mean, like we talked about with the show Euphoria and the way drugs are kind of portrayed and stuff nowadays, it's something you have to be very cautious about. It is a big problem. In Akron alone, we have huge issues with heroin and even opioids and stuff. So, it's good that they're being held accountable for it. You know, drugs are a real problem, and we have to just be cautious in the way that we handle them, use them, talk about them, whatever it is, portray them in TV shows even. So give me some of that monies.
Yeah.
I never had opiates, I don't think. Is that like they give you like the strong pain medications and stuff when you're sick?
Yeah, it's just a painkiller.
What are those called though? What's the big ones they give you?
Percocets
and stuff. Are those opioids?
I've had Percocets.
Vicodin, yeah, those.
I've had Vicodin. But I mean,
what's the other one that's
wasn't
really
addicted to them.
Vicodin, and I don't know. I had one of those when I had my wisdom teeth out, and man, it did make me feel good. I could see
Yeah.
how people get addicted to it.
I
Because
can too.
granted, I only had a prescription for so long, and thankfully I couldn't get it after that. But it felt good because when I felt like shit and I took those, I was like, A-okay.
But that's what scares me from it. Like
what
I'm
people get hooked,
of the
man.
frame of mind to go like, look, this feels too good to where it's dangerous, and I'm
Yep.
like, I don't want this ever again.
Well, for a lot of opioids, and it's a part of where this probably comes from, is that it was used for people that were coming off other drugs. That was they were given opioids as their recovery process.
Yeah.
So then they would just go from being addicted from one drug to now they're addicted to opioids. It just transitioned, but now it was a pharmaceutical thing where it's making them money. It's super shitty,
dangerous,
very dangerous. Check it out online if you care to read anymore. I saw that right before the show and I wanted to bring it up. The big one.
Well, before we get into that, did you see CDC is letting everybody know they can relax on the mask mandates indoors?
What's that mean?
It just came out. Like
Fuck is that
schools.
word? Now it's just not.
Yeah, they said with the decline in COVID cases,
To be fair, I haven't heard much about COVID lately.
It's
It's
be more lax on the mask mandating. Like in
Disney, Disney. Disney lifted all mask regulations. You did not have to wear them in line, inside, outside, anything. We still wore ours when we were in like the big groups, just because I had COVID and I do not want COVID again. But yeah, there was no restrictions anymore. Airport and airplanes still had to have it on the entire time. Disney and Universal both not requirement. You'd still see people wearing them, but I'd probably say 10% of people had a mask on voluntarily.
That's kind of how it was at the Dwight Yoakam concert.
Yeah.
There was like, we were wearing them, and then there was maybe 10-15% of other people.
Very lax. It just shows you that people aren't concerned.
Yeah,
is what I gather from it. I mean, we're talking Disney World. There was no 6 foot. It's shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, they kept even in line. They're like, if they were doing like over the PA, like clap your hands once, and everybody would clap their hands. Clap your hands
You're
twice.
too far apart.
Okay, since you're able to clap your hands, you're too far from the person in front of you. Please slide up.
did this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? 6 feet doesn't matter anymore?
Yeah, they got rid of all the line things on the
I think
ground.
that was the Monsters Inc. show thing.
Monsters,
They just fill in all open space.
COVID's not a thing anymore. But it's weird because the employees all had to help. The employees had masks on.
Not all.
I wonder if that was a
without.
vaccination thing. If you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah, I've seen a lot with, but there's quite a few
maybe
without
it was by
too.
choice. Maybe they were wearing by choice.
But they're posting signs saying that by entering this park, you are aware of COVID-19 and the possibility of contracting, which that should have been all you needed,
right?
All over the place.
Yeah.
From the start.
Like, hey, you're here. Instead of forcing people to wear it,
if you want to wear it, you can wear it. If not, no big deal.
Don't come back on us.
Over it. You're an adult. Make your decision for yourself.
Yeah. You don't have to go to Disney World.
Yeah. So, yeah. But now we can get into the real talk.
So CDC, I've seen it. It's been, the requirements have been dwindling. Things are changing again. I haven't, for the most part, heard as much conversation around COVID as we had been over the previous weeks. It was ramping up again. Numbers were getting bad. We were hearing all kinds of hospital stuff.
Ohio's been under 2,500 cases for the last 13 days.
That's good or bad?
That's good every day. Yeah, because we were as many as 22,000.
Okay, yeah. So it's maybe it's finally starting. I think, I don't want to say we got to that herd immunity, but I think we finally get to the point where enough people were getting the vaccine.
That's what they're saying.
And then getting sick, and like our bodies are fighting it. People are still probably getting sick, but not as bad as it was initially. We're finally starting to push through it.
Might be getting to the severity of like a cold.
Yeah. Hopefully that's all it is if I ever get it again.
It sucked. It's getting fucking old. Get it done.
But in bigger news, 2 days now, 3 days now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tuesday.
The war on Ukraine,
both.
Russia's attack of Ukraine. A couple days now.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday was the first day.
Yeah.
Is when like the first strikes happened.
Yeah, it was when they started invading.
So tensions have been building in between Ukraine and Russia, mostly because of Russia. It's been ongoing for a while now. I mean, years and years and years, but more recently, last couple months, Russia's kind of been testing the waters on, putting troops at the border of Ukraine, having military flights and kind of just upping their military presence around Ukraine. And on Tuesday, they, I don't know, what would you call it, had their first attack. I don't know what it is when you set the war off.
A bigger presence, I guess. A bigger, like,
they crossed that line. They went from just having a presence there to actually invading Ukraine at this point.
Moving lines.
Yeah, they moved in, and it wasn't just like a slow thing. I mean, they moved in and started war with Ukraine to the point of bombing with planes, tanks, soldiers on ground.
10 times as many soldiers in Russia as there is in Ukraine.
And it's gotten bad. I mean, it's only been a couple days. I don't know how quickly this progresses or what the end game looks like. But I'm kind of curious your guys' thoughts on a couple things. And we've kind of talked about this offline, but one, this is very much has the opportunity to get bad. We have a lot of support at this point. The UN has kind of come in and said, look, we're not playing this game with Russia. Like if this escalates much further, they are in full support of shutting them down. Where I feel like a lot of in the past, it's been a US thing. Like we're always the guy to have to step in and take over. And we might have like a very small percentage of help from another country, but it's pretty much us against, in the Middle East, it's always been us versus whoever it is, So we haven't done anything yet outside of sanctions. The US, Biden, whoever you want to say to take ownership of it, has placed pretty strong sanctions on Russia, which is kind of a starting point. Obviously, we get to the point where maybe we send troops. I think we actually already have sent like 8,500 troops.
Not there, but to surrounding
Europe.
European countries.
Yeah. So we're getting people there
44,000
to kind of be preemptive to it getting bad and us having to step in. Yeah. But we've set these sanctions up. So basically we restrict what can be traded into Russia. So the goods that are allowed to be sent there to aid them, financial sanctions. So a lot of the assets that Russia holds are within the US. So we've frozen those assets so they can no longer transact business with the assets that they have, whether it be businesses or real estate, whatever it might be. And then also sanctions on them transacting in the main global currency. So they can't, in the yen, in the euro, in the dollar, in the francs, they can't do any transacting in that. So they no longer have access to purchase or transact in whether it be technological devices or stuff for the military or bringing in goods to the country.
That's all done through SWIFT, a program called SWIFT.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
So it's a starting point. It's obviously not going to solve it, but it's more of a long-term thing. Like, hey, if you don't fucking stop your shenanigans, you're going to have this large global impact to your country, which ultimately sadly affects the citizens. It affects some of the people at the top. Putin's, a lot of his assets are outside of Russia. So by us freezing his assets and stuff, it affects him to an extent, but it's kind of like a stop. So we don't have to take this to the next level. My thoughts are with you guys are our level of intervention. So we've all been kind of vocal about how we feel about getting involved in other countries' wars. For me, it's always been kind of a struggle because I feel like if you can help, you should. But I also am kind of over the unnecessary wars that have been going on for the last 20, 25 years in the Middle East. I feel a little bit differently about this one because I feel the Middle Eastern wars were kind of a at our own accord. It was more of a greed of our own. We were there for our own reasons. We were doing it for something that was our own purpose. Whereas this one it's nothing for ourselves. If we stepped in, it's because, look, these poor people are getting ransacked.
It's a takeover.
Exactly. Yeah, they're being taken over. So,
and you don't know how far that takeover extends.
And for what reason? Like, that's the other part of it is
Well, Putin is very much like you could compare to a Hitler. I mean, the man is I mean, he was from the Soviet Union. He's a ex-Soviet Union general. He's very military based. His goal is to take over Ukraine's resources. They do have a lot of natural resources there that he's hoping to have control over. He wants to gain control of, I think it's the Baltic Sea, which is a main trade route there. He's similar. His actions are very similar to what China is trying to do in Taiwan. They want to gain control over the ins and outs of the trade routes so that they hold the power on what can come and what can go. So where China wants to do that with Taiwan for the electronic and chip trading, Putin is trying to do the same thing with the Baltic Sea, whereas that's a main route in and out of Europe for a lot of the trade that happens there. And he's power hungry. He wants to just go in and just have the I can't think of what we talked about earlier. The rule, though, what's the word? Communist. The communist rule of the country. He's fucked up.
Which is
the guy. Russia wants nothing to do with it. This is one man who's just a fucking sicko. I mean,
this is another key contributor to this whole war that's going on. It has a lot to do with what you're talking about with trades, but it also has a lot to do with the fact that Ukraine and Taiwan are both countries that are seeking their own democracies.
Yes.
They're seeking the ways out west, basically our ways of things, a very democratic way, democracy way of running your policies. And what that does to a country like Russia is it says, well, for them to do that, that immediately threatens everything that we're about. It's our way of life against that completely. And what Ukraine can do is when they set up that, they can now qualify for NATO, which is basically all of these countries, peaceful countries that choose peace above all else, like America, like England, everybody else. They can be a part of that group. And when they're in that group, you're protected by that group. So if Ukraine signed up to be in NATO, England and America, the second that Russia bombed them, America would be right on that doorstep and say, get the fuck back now. This is the only reason this is going on right now is because Ukraine didn't fully follow through with signing up for NATO. And Russia knew that they were going to sign up for NATO, and Russia felt threatened because they would have Americans literally knocking on their doorstep. So it's a lot of a mixed conflict here. Look, me explaining this, I am not justifying Russia in any way whatsoever. Let that be known right now. I am just stating that the intentions for why each side is doing what they're doing. That's all I'm doing. To me, it's a bunch of greedy politicians who want too much. Putin is at the top of that fucking list. Yeah. He's a fucking megalomaniac who goes out and fucking will ruin any life for his own gain.
Yeah.
He's
a whack job.
Literally the worst, one of the two worst probably people walking the earth right now.
Him and Kim Jong-un.
Yes. He's the other guy that scares the living shit out of me.
And the thing is I think that Putin is worse than Kim Jong-un.
You think?
Yeah, I think Putin is worse. So Kim Jong-un, he is crazy. I mean, let's not let that slide, but he also never did anything.
Mm-hmm.
Putin at this point has enacted war.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Jong-un had a lot of talk. Oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. But he never actually acted. Putin is putting actions to his words, and that's where it's scary. And they have the ability. They shut down the Ukrainian government via hacking in 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's what Russia's good at. That's their cyber
They're very good at the cyber attack.
And that's what America's trying to shut down right now is their rights to those kind of counterattacks and all that. Because if Russia's good for one thing, it's that.
Yep. So they're both crazy, but thankfully for us, Kim Jong-un never actually initiated anything. He talked about it and he threatened it with Trump and everything, but there was no reactions to his words, where our Putin does not seem concerned with actually doing what he says. And that's where it's a little bit more scary.
And didn't Biden and Putin sit down?
Well,
recently?
So Putin and Trump were buddies. Yeah. Well, they were and they weren't.
It was a peaceful thing to talk things through. I think that laid down hey, this is the expectations that the U.S. is putting on Russia. I think Putin took that the wrong direction.
Yeah. He said, "You're not going to tell us what to do.
Fuck you. I'm gonna
but
do what I want."
And this is what leads to the one thing that I think America did wrong in this whole scenario. So for me, your job as a president, whether you're Democratic or Republican, does not matter. That you are a bipartisan president when it comes to talking to other people.
Yep.
So Dan and I, we run opposite countries, and I've heard everything that he does. He's a dictator. He does all this evil shit and all that. Doesn't matter. I have to go over there and talk to him.
Yep.
That is my job. I have to give peace a chance before you go and do anything worse. Biden would not sit down and talk with Putin about this whole thing, about the whole NATO knocking on the door of Ukraine, all this stuff. Refused to talk to him about it. Said he's a dictator, called him all these names and all that. And I'm like, that's fine. All those things are true, but it's your job to go over there and talk to him.
Yeah.
This whole
Biden,
thing,
he didn't.
I'm not saying none of this could have been prevented. Putin probably still would have been an asshole and still would have, enacted his power. But at the same time, you have to give it a chance. These people's lives are on these politicians' hands. Every single person that dies. That's where I'm angry about.
I agree and I don't agree. Well, I agree and I don't want to say I don't agree, but where I'm conflicted is why is it our responsibility to go over and sit down with him? What would us talking to him have to do with? Because that's the big art, and this is the one thing I have not shared or talked about this online at all because I can't handle the political.
Me neither.
The shit that it turns into. Well, if Trump was president, this wouldn't have happened.
That's not what this should be.
I don't want fucking anything to do with that. There's people fucking dying right now in a war, like an awful war. Buildings. I don't want to care. I don't care about your political beliefs.
That's proof of our division, though.
So, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm just curious. Like, I don't disagree, but I'm also like, if Biden went, why does Biden have to go? I guess is more what I'm asking is not why would Biden go, but why not the prime minister of Europe or Britain go, or why not the prime minister of Canada go? Why does Biden have to go?
Twofold, and Dan just kind of hit one of them. Who's a bigger influencer than America? Who's the face that you don't want to see knocking at your door and saying, knock this shit off more than America? Like, we're the ones that could take Russia out with no problems.
Right.
So that's one, obviously. Two, America is the one that developed NATO. They're the ones they are basically the founders of that program.
Yeah, makes sense.
So for them, it's like, you're kind of in a way responsible. I don't know, for lack of a better word. I'm not blaming this whole thing on America.
No. I was just curious.
This is Putin's fault purely. Yeah. But I said, as a president, and this is what the French prime minister was saying, and this is what the Ukrainian prime minister was saying. They were saying we should have enacted talks before this whole thing even took place.
Yeah.
This whole thing should have been, words before actions.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what I said pre-show, or it might have been during the show, I remember, but it feels reminiscent of the exit of Afghanistan.
Oh yeah.
Where we knew how it was going to end and we did not act. So this has been brewing. This has been building up between Ukraine and Russia for a while.
Since the end of the Cold War.
14 years.
2004 was when it really kicked off. So there's two sections of Eastern Ukraine who tried to secede from the main country.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to be a part of the change in the way that Ukraine is run with this democracy. They held Russia as their hierarchy, and Putin is trying to still utilize that as his reasoning for going in now.
Yeah.
But it all kind of started in 2004 with this section of Ukraine trying to segregate from the rest of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's been building up since then, but even more recently over the last 6 months or so, as he's militarized and moved in, we knew something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
To your point,
just know when.
Why not? What have we been doing since then to try and de-escalate?
Yeah.
Were there talks happening that maybe we don't know about? Did talks not happen? How are we trying to resolve it? Much like, and again, this isn't to fall on Biden like the Afghanistan thing. It just happens to be who was in president at the time. That situation, we knew how that was going to end if we just left. And we fucking left.
Yep.
Shit fell apart. And then we sent people back there again. Like, come on.
Yeah.
We're smarter than that.
Yeah.
This could have, I'm not saying this could have been avoided because I truly don't think it could have been avoided.
I don't think so.
I think Putin was making a move regardless. But maybe if we had people in place earlier, because now we sent troops after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
What if we had troops already in Europe around Ukraine ahead of time?
Oh, you would have never.
So that way he knows as soon as he makes a strike, well, we're going to retaliate.
Yeah.
Now he's already fucking moved in there. He's already setting up strongholds there. They're fucking, bombing the capital, Kiev or whatever.
There is no military like America's military on the planet. There is no, I'm not just saying that because I live here.
There's not.
There is no military that is even half as dangerous as them.
The only thing to our disadvantage is we're so far away.
Yeah.
At this point, the reliance is heavily on Europe, the United Nations playing a role. Because sure, we have our embassies and stuff there.
India
and
too.
We have a small presence there.
Mm-hmm.
But our military's here.
Mm-hmm.
We would be reliant on them to step up and fight and obviously have our troops there.
Yeah.
But as far as, fighter jets and tanks and shit like that, it's a big deal to move that shit across the fucking world.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight.
If it doesn't get bombed first,
Right. Exactly. I mean, they have the stronghold being there. You're always stronger when you can hold the defense.
Home field advantage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I mean, the videos coming out on Twitter and TikTok. I mean, it's just, this isn't, I don't even want to call it a war. I mean, because it's one-sided. Ukraine's attempting.
It's an invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ukraine's attempting to defend themselves, but what do you do when you've got Russia against you? I mean, the amount of people they have, the size of their military. Ukraine's not a large military-based country.
400,000 versus 2 million.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
And that's just, those are like, we're talking reserves too. Like Russia's 2 million isn't all there yet. Like I think they only sent 100,000 right now. They've got that many locked up.
What do we do? I don't know what we do at this point. Like, we haven't had a war in a long time, like a real war. I don't, the Middle Eastern Desert Storm type shit. Again, like it was a war, but that was at our own accord. Like, I know we always try to say it was for their defense. I still to this day believe we were there for our own greed. We were there for resources that we wanted to have. We had our own way in wanting to be in the Middle East.
And that wasn't a globally threatening war either.
No,
like this feels like a war with communism versus democracy.
Yes. Well, this war feels different just because one, Russia's crazy. They have a lot more resources than Afghanistan or Iraq did. This is a lot bigger country, a lot more people,
more infrastructure too.
More infrastructure. Yeah. Yes. And it feels different because with the Middle East, again, it was us versus them. There was not a lot of outside presence from the UN.
Just England,
because we
really.
were there. We were there basically attacking them.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a country that's being attacked who doesn't have a support system. And the UN has stepped up and said, look, we're not going to do it. I don't know what that means because none of them have acted, but they've verbalized that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means by, because it's kind of just basically been said, like, if it escalates further, they're not going to have it. They're going to step in. I don't know how much further we need to get at this point. They're already fucking blowing them to shreds. I mean, when you're shooting fucking missiles into neighborhoods and running cars over tanks, I mean, it's fucking awful.
It sounds shitty because, but that NATO certification, that's pretty much the crossing barrier. So it's like for a country that has, if they're part of that program, this doesn't even get touched. We're not even talking about this right now.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that didn't get done, and Putin knew he had a time to act against the clock.
So I honestly, I'm not too familiar with that. So Ukraine was trying to join the UN, but they just didn't.
They didn't. No, well, like they were filing the motions to go through it.
Got it.
And that was starting to. And Putin caught word of this, and he knew he had a race against the clock to get through. And if he takes it over, he knows he can get that country back. He can get back all of its resources. So that's the thing that's misconceived here. Ukraine has a lot of resources when it comes that could help Russia.
Yep.
Weapons programs. We're talking agriculture, everything.
Yep. They have a ton of natural resource and stuff there that would be viable for them.
Yeah.
I guess my thing is if the UN was aware of their actions to join or want to join, then at this point it should just be your part. I don't know what that. I know you file paperwork, if you pay a membership fee or something, but like,
well, it's changing your whole way of life. It's from now on your democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the way it is. We have to change everything from elections to officials, everything.
Yeah, I feel like they'll have the UN. I mean, it seems like the UN has vocalized that they will have their support. As it seems they were on the track to do it. And due to the invasion by Russia, they weren't able to succeed in signing up or whatever you want to call it, So
for me, the question is, how far into Ukraine do they go?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if they take over all of Ukraine, then technically they're already on the doorstep of a NATO country, one way or the other.
Kiev is northwestern part of Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty far from Russia. You have to get in pretty far from Russia.
Northern, north central.
Yeah. I mean, it's towards because Russia is more east to the capital.
Yeah.
And from what I heard is that their goal is to get to Kiev because the president, I don't know if it's president there or prime minister, whatever they call a leader in Ukraine. He is holding out and he said he will not leave Kiev, even though that he knows he's the target.
Yeah.
He's holding down in the capital and he has no intention of leaving, that he's going to stay there with his country. And But yeah, I mean, that's where they're heading. I don't know how long we continue to allow them to further infiltrate before we interact. When we interact, it has to be quick and swift. We can't be dilly-dallying because he's not stable. You know, the dude, I don't have any notion that guy has any fear in fucking blowing shit up.
200 and Kiev is 226 miles west of the Russian border.
So it's not that bad. I mean, really, it's not that far.
5.5
4 or
hours.
5 hours, 5.5 hours. I mean, that's not, I mean, you got to think this has been 3 days at this point. They could already be there, if not going to be there soon.
At the rate they're going. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, granted, tanks don't move very fast, but it's not hard to get there.
That's enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck, man. And the last thing we need is stray missiles in Chernobyl, too.
That's the one that worried me the
shit's
most.
sketchy as fuck.
I think weren't they attacking?
So
I thought I'd heard
they were using, so Chernobyl at this point is pretty much barren land, and they've basically been using it as a fast track through to Ukraine.
Yeah,
because it's like a 10-mile stretch in between like the border or something.
And like they've redone everything. Obviously, since the Chernobyl disaster of '86, they rebuilt the factory and they've kind of brought it back up and running again. Yeah, but like now it's like they figure this is what they've said about Putin's intentions for taking it over. If he's there, if their presence is there, America and everybody else can't bomb that country. That's basically an invisible zone for them. It's that if you bomb them, well, you're fucking ruining everybody else that's around them. Also, if
that opens again like it did, I mean, Europe's fucked.
Yeah,
Europe's completely fucked
because you're gonna have the same selfless guys that you saw the show.
Yeah,
are you gonna have the same selfless guys that go in there and fucking dig all that up and cost their lives?
That show was fucked.
That show fucks.
True.
I've seen it 4 times and it fucks me up still.
It's real good.
So Chernobyl is just south of Belarus border of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Again, it's still 5.5 hours from Russia.
Oh, is it from Russia?
Yeah. Kiev is south of Chernobyl.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know
like
position. I didn't know
south.
globally position. Okay.
Because I was curious as to like how, like we're saying, how far away is Kiev? How far is
Russia's a
that
giant
Russian
country.
advance?
Yeah.
Well, I know that.
Yeah,
I
mean,
wasn't sure how big Ukraine was, and
Ukraine's pretty big too.
It's a decent sized country.
But an army that size, they
But
move
they're moving
fast,
in.
man. That's what I'm saying. Like, and if they have no opposition or a weak opposition at that, they're gonna run right through them. It sucks to say.
I mean, it doesn't seem like Ukraine's putting up much of a stronghold against.
They don't have the numbers.
They're not
Haven't
doing
done it.
anything. It's kind of like they're holding their own ground as they come through, but they're not putting up a force against them. They can't.
Yeah. That's why you need an England or
how big was the areas that were trying to secede from Ukraine?
I would say if you put them together, it's like a fifth the size of the country.
Yeah.
So
it's the furthest east side, and it's a northern and a southern portion.
And they're the biggest, two of the biggest cities.
Yeah, I mean they're big in comparison to the size of the country, but as a whole, I'd say they're like a fourth or a fifth of the complete size of Ukraine as a whole. Closest to Russia. I can't remember what they're called.
Shatska.
Yeah, they're fuck, I can't.
There's one with a D.
name.
Isn't it a D?
Yeah, it's an interesting name, but it was back in 2004 that they started this want to succeed from, they didn't want to be a part of
Donetsk. That's it.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't want to be a part of Ukraine as a whole anymore.
Kharkiv.
Yeah. Well,
Kharkiv. I don't know.
They just don't support that way of life, that communism way of life. And that's where you're getting it. These citizens are tired of it. The thing that I find most shocking about all of this, and I don't know if Ryan is leading to this or not, but is that the Russian people themselves are kind of barking back against this too, that they don't support this. There's, people are getting arrested. Protesters are getting arrested on the streets of Russia for protesting against communism, for protesting against this whole invasion. Dude, when your people are turning on you, that's a bad look for any prime minister. Look at this country when you have a leader where all the people are turning against them.
That's how it always is with these places. I mean, think of even the Middle East. Think of, Germany. None of these citizens wanted that.
Yeah. That's why Putin fears democracy more than anything.
Because he knows
his
people
ass
are
would be
against him.
gone, man. Yeah.
We just need to assassinate him.
Yeah.
Come on, you're telling me we can't? We got fucking Bin Laden in his damn caves.
One of our mutual friends, and you'll know who when you figure it out,
Yeah.
had mentioned that earlier and talked about like, yeah, if they got that shot that, you know, so many people wanted with Hitler,
Yeah.
like these days, the precision with those weapons,
bro,
you'd be gone, dude.
Send in that SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
And fucking take him out.
He can't go outside. I mean, he has to be inside at all times.
But I think that dude don't give a fuck. I think I think that dude's fucked. I mean,
the world wants you dead.
We talked about this. We talked about this earlier. If you live that lifestyle, you're not mentally stable. You're brainwashed. I mean, think about, so we were debating about the guy in the tank that ran over the car. And I'm saying, okay, so communist or not, you're still a human being. If you see a car driving down the street, there's no one around to see you. You're voluntarily making the choice to run over this innocent person in a vehicle who is not armed, who has no harm to you. You're in a fucking tank and you do it. You're not right in the head. You're fucked up.
Well, that's communism as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude isn't all there. I mean, he's not stupid by any means. But I think he's so fucking brainwashed and thinks that he's untouchable. I honestly don't know if he's bunkering down. I really don't know. Is he in a little bunker fucking telling everybody what to do? Is he a part of it? I don't know. Because like
if I were him, I would be.
Bin Laden and Hussein were somewhat involved in their military actions.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't like, not to the very end were they hiding away. They were out there fucking driving around and flaunting themselves during the war.
The scary thing with Bin Laden is it was a religion. So there were followers who were willing to die for his word. He was their god. That's what was scary about that.
Like, so this military, are they afraid? I mean, I guess my thing is the Russian army, the Russian military, is it like Germany where they're afraid that if they don't, that they'll be killed? Because in Germany, that's how much. I mean, with the Nazis, you could not do anything out of order. I mean, you were killed on the spot.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm imagining it's got to be the same within Russia because they obviously want nothing to do with it. They vocalize that they want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
What do you do at that point?
Probably young men slaughtering against their wills.
It's awful, man. I can't imagine living with that, just killing innocent people against your will for some sicko. Fucking take the guy
Need
out.
an uprising.
They do.
Well, and they
fucking should just turn on him.
So the end game of all of this is that either they're going to take over all the two areas of Ukraine that they want, and then they'll retreat and go back to their homes and all that, or they go even further and they say, let's test this and see how far we can go. And then that's when America gets involved, and that's when you officially have a world war.
Are they already overstepping their bound, like where they were?
Technically not right now. That's the thing that sucks about all this.
So
because
the attack on Kiev.
Well, I'm not saying it's legal. I'm just saying like there's nothing really that NATO can do right now. There's
right.
nothing.
Technically they can, because they've committed war crimes. The tank action is technically a war crime. Using military force against unarmed citizens is a war crime.
Agreed, but they have to make sure
the UN could step in.
They have to make sure that they're still in a talking point. They still want to negotiate the thing. Even Biden said, he goes, everything he's done is reprehensible, but at the same time, there is a way back from it. Like you can retreat right now.
So, I mean, are they? I wonder if they are. I mean, because at this point, it seems Putin's pretty much just said, we're doing our fucking thing. Don't interject. Like if you interject, we're gonna fuck you up, is what he said. Which I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of nuclear weapons, but I mean, we've made the action, which I know people are making fun of the sanctions, but it's kind of our step towards like, we don't want to fucking blow your country to pieces because we will.
And I'm one of those people. And here's
it's not just, I mean, there's a lot of people that are, even my brothers were like, fucking sanctions. I'm like, look, I mean, what do you do? It's either don't do anything or you just blow them up.
Here's why I don't like it. If you could attack just Putin's sanctions alone, that would be terrific. I hate that so many of these people, these Russian people who are going against this, who are on the streets protesting, they're the ones who are going to be affected by this. It's the lower class that gets fucked in a situation like this. Just like we're going to get our fucking gas prices are going to go through the roof this summer. It's going to be ridiculous. Yeah. We're going to get hit too.
Get that bike out.
I already did.
How was your ride over here?
It was cold. And I slipped a couple times.
But yeah, I just that's my problem. Like the sanctions are great. I guess if you see a big change to where it's like, I don't know, that motherfucker has to come out of hiding or something, he has no choice but to do it, then cool, I'm all for it. But I don't know. Talk is cheap. Let's fucking like you said, just take him out. Fuck him.
So in other news, well, not other news, but another front, because I'm just reading this article my brother sent me from Fox News. If this is you guys, what do you do? If you're, I mean, because I talked about it in the group chat earlier. I give a lot of credit to the military because I know I'm not brave enough to stand up and act.
My sister is.
In the behalf that these people do. You know, people want to bash the military or bash war, but then situations like this happen. And I'm very thankful that there are people that willingly, you know, go out and fight for this country so that we don't have to. But I've been reading articles and we've been sharing videos and stuff of Ukraine military and the sacrifices they're making to try and protect their country. I can't imagine. My little brother just sent me an article that news that Ukraine is sharing, thanking one of the Ukrainian Marine who basically kamikazed a bridge. He blew himself up to blow up a bridge.
That is true.
That would have allowed Russian forces to move forward or whatever.
Yesterday, yep.
I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I really don't know if I would have it in me to do that.
You're dying for that cause, man.
I know, but I mean, it's like I give them so much credit because I truly don't think I would do that. I'd probably run and fucking hide.
Well, to go
in a bush somewhere and cry because I don't think I'm for real. I don't think I'm blowing myself up.
Dude, I'm not brave enough to join the army. I'm really not.
No, man. I couldn't do it.
Nope. Not me.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's real sad. Just the sacrifices that these people are having to make. And I hope that someone steps in before it's too late and that they don't die in vain, because it's just awful to watch and see, you know, what they're going through. I mean, it's just terror. It's terrorism. I mean, it's just in a different, I think we're kind of, what's the word? Desensitized to like it going on in the Middle East because it's been for fucking 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, whenever we hear about a new war over there, it's just like, well, is this the norm? But this is different. You know, it's been a while since we've seen like another country be overrun in this sort of fashion that we weren't involved in. You know, that wasn't something that we were a part of.
And geography is a big part of it too, because, you know, you always look at these wars and you go, it's sad to say, that's over there, we're over here.
Right.
So like a lot of people turn a blind eye to it.
Yep.
Now you look at something that it has to do with the policies. It's communism versus democracy. And that is a threat to your own nation. That's where it hits home.
Yep.
Because how far does this whole invasion stretch? Do we decide after we get Ukraine, do we go a little further and we go, let's test our luck a little bit further? We already won once. I mean, if these guys aren't going to fucking jump, we're going to keep going.
Yep. I mean, they're not far off from a lot of, I mean, it's right there with a lot of big countries that people from here go to for tourism.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, I got a buddy over in Europe right now. I'm like, bro, you crazy.
Oh yeah.
I ain't going over there right now.
I got family there.
I don't want to be over in that part of the world right now with all this going on.
Yep.
Nope.
Man. So
I was just asked if I wanted to apply to StockX, and I was looking up their locations.
Going over to Ukraine?
No, it's in the UK.
from?
Like they got a place in UK that they're hiring at.
Even
Like,
that's too close.
that's what I was telling Alicia. It's like,
Nope.
yeah, that UK would be nice. I'm like, not right now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't
No
want
way.
to. I don't even want to
Keep
travel
me
outside the country for vacation, man.
Keep me as far away from all that as possible.
Yep. Here we're like on our own little island. You know, it's a lot to get from anywhere, west or east, to get to the U.S.
And who's going to fuck with us? Canada or Mexico?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I like it. I like where we're at. We're strong. We're weak right now. I mean, our country's fucked up right now, but we have a strong military presence. We're hard to get to. I ain't got no desire to go anywhere else right now.
Nobody wants to take our land right now.
No one wants to take our land. We took our land.
It's full of
It's our land
trash.
now. Oh boy, it's gonna be interesting to see how this unfolds. Hopefully, it's over quickly, and then we're not talking about this for as long as we've been talking about COVID.
God, I hope not.
Did you see that meme going around where it shows like one day and the same characters in the next day, and it shows like a normal summer for 2022.
Fuck,
And then it shows the fucking war comes in. Like, thanks a lot, Putin.
First normal summer since 2019, and then
Thanks, Putin.
Never fucking ends, man.
No,
this better be over before summer.
Yeah.
It can't go that long. Realistically, this can't go that long. I mean, because here's the thing: if it draws out a long period of time, I don't foresee it going long. He's moving in. Like, we either have to stop him or we don't. It's like, you get it. We are either going to intervene or we're not going to intervene. If we intervene, blow him the fuck up.
Well, I think this part will be done within a week or two.
Yeah.
But I
It's
think
going to be what comes after that.
What's his decision from there? Do we go home? Do we keep going?
He'll fight us. It'll end up turning into I think it ends up turning into a multi-country war. I don't foresee he did not set out on this to just back down if someone intervened.
Yeah.
Because he knew someone's going to intervene. Come on.
He's not the backing down
Yeah,
type.
he's not stupid. There's no way that this man really thought he was going to invade Ukraine and no one would do anything.
Yeah.
He knew someone's going to step in and he ain't going to back down.
Yeah.
He knows very well. When have we ever not gotten involved in a war before? Come on. He knows that we're going to fucking.
Still waiting to answer that question.
Yeah, unless he thinks, I mean Biden, whatever your thoughts are on Biden, I don't care. He's a pussy. He probably thinks Biden ain't going to do shit.
Agreed.
But I don't think Biden isn't going to do shit.
Yeah.
Biden will step up if need be.
Yeah.
Whether it's by his choice or pressure from below, he will intervene.
And the thing is, what we talked about, I can't remember what the topic was. We talked about something about a year ago where policies and everything that happens during that election term comes down on the person who's in charge during that time. And if we get into a world war, you can say goodbye to Biden's term as president, because there is nobody on this planet who is going to support that.
Oh, no. It's going to be all bad.
He'll have his Democratic brainwashers, I'm sure. But at the same time, like, dude, a majority of people are going to say this is the guy responsible for getting us into World War III, the first big war we've been in 70, 80 years.
But do you think we can't get involved? Do you think there's a scenario in this where we don't get involved?
I have to know how far it stretches. Like, and it sounds shitty to say that.
Say he moves into Kiev and takes full control of the country. Do you think we just
is that it for him?
And we say that's it?
Is that it for him?
I don't. I'm thinking that's his goal. Honestly, at this point, that's what it seemed his goal is. He just wants to regain control of Ukraine.
If he wants to get that country over, I would say no. If he goes further, if he goes, we're going to test this thing.
If he stays within Ukraine and stop
another European country, then we go.
So you said
no.
You said regain control. He had control.
Well, they used to. So
Russia did, not Putin.
Yeah,
Okay.
Russia used to.
So he's doing it for Russia.
For Mother Russia.
He's doing it to get a bit. So the thing you have to know about
Russia.
Putin.
When it was Soviet Union, Putin was like a commander in the military.
Damn you.
Sorry. He feels like they should still have control of Ukraine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Taking all of his.
But again, if he does, so if he moves within Ukraine and stops.
It sounds shitty.
No, it doesn't though. I mean, what do we do at that point?
He's fighting to get his country back,
right?
His side back,
right?
That much, like, we know the intentions. We knew it was coming. We should have done something about it faster, but we didn't.
Right.
End of story. If he comes back, he goes, okay, that's it. Let's go back and let's live our ways. We'll live in communism. You guys live in democracy. If that happens.
Now, because his intention, from what I gather, is to take over Ukraine to manifest the trade routes. Now, he does that and he shuts stuff off. Do we get involved?
Yes, because that affects us.
Yeah, because that's his ultimate goal. He ain't moving into Ukraine just for the hell of it.
Yeah,
his end game is to control the Middle Eastern, European trade routes.
But I'll tell you this: you better get there before he gets here.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Oh boy,
fucking war.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Like, I mean, we have it so good, but it's like these constant background stresses are just, it's stressful. To work. I mean, it's not right here, but it's still stuff we have to be concerned about, and it just seems never ending.
Policy is the worst thing that ever happened to the world.
Right. It's so frustrating, man. I can't imagine I can't imagine being in a situation like they're in. We're very fortunate to be where we're at. And only have to stress over
talking about it
and what's going on in the outside world and not be present to it. But if it gets bad enough, I mean, it will affect everyone, because nuclear war is a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing.
Very terrifying.
And there's a lot of nuclear weapons out there.
Lots.
Yep.
Lots and lots and lots. And there's a Russian space station.
And it's going to be there longer than the American space station.
I want to have a word with that guy right now.
All right, guys. I don't know what else to talk about with this. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more in the future.
It's kind of our thing.
Just be nice to each other.
Be nice to each other.
Don't try to take over your
I
neighbor's
just don't get it. It's
property.
so hard to understand because I just don't get it. I just don't get the mindset behind it.
You'll never be that person.
I just don't understand. I don't understand waking up. Like, why do you, for him, this can't be enjoyable? Like, why? It's got to be extremely
For
stressful.
Putin?
I mean, yeah, we might think, okay, he's
He's
fucked
not
up, it's
sacrificing
fun.
anything. It's him.
But you know it's got to be stressful as fuck. It's still stressful.
That fucking guy's not down on the front line fighting anybody.
Bro, I'm stressed. I ain't over there either.
Yeah. He don't give a fuck, dude. That
He
dude's
doesn't.
crazier than cat shit.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's just a scary world to live in. He's still putting himself. I mean, yeah, he might be buried somewhere in fucking Russia, but we drop enough bombs on him, it won't matter. You know,
Better hope you're first.
you're not first, you're last. We got big bombs, big ones, big bulls.
This
Big bulls.
might be the one time where I'm like, America might just want to go for it and just say, like, just fucking bomb them as fast as you can and get it done and take your accountability later.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would be the best off. It will be extremely shitty for the people there that die innocently, but there's a lot of other people dying innocently right now anyways.
Yeah.
Blow the motherfucker up. Put him in the ground.
Watchmen, kill 1 million to save billions.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, because honestly, if we don't do it sooner and it escalates to that, then we're gonna live with that on our hands.
Yep.
Blow him up. Fucking Hiroshima, that bitch.
Take your consequences later.
We gotta find Peacemaker. Get him on it.
Oh, shit, man.
And Eagly.
Stop him
Equally.
before, like, jokes aside, stop him before he gets to Chernobyl.
Before he gets the ability. Yeah,
To get to
absolutely.
Chernobyl, because then we're fucked.
Well, they're already
We
at Chernobyl.
He is?
Yeah, they already took over
Oh,
Chernobyl.
did they get to Kiev?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, they took over Chernobyl yesterday or the day before.
I knew
I
that they
thought
were
I heard.
talking of using that as like their route in, but I didn't know they actually took over yet.
They've got
Oh,
90
fuck.
Chernobyl workers held at gunpoint right now just to run the station, and they're in command of that area. Oh yeah, brother.
Oh, we're fucked.
Oh yeah. That's what terrifies me.
We're fucked. That's bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all bad.
That was the first thing he aimed for.
I knew, that's the thing I knew, but I didn't realize how quickly. I mean, Chernobyl's far from them.
They took it over. The tanks ran right in. If you look, there's a picture on CNN, and they have 5 tanks right outside of the
Power of the plant.
the station. Yeah,
So we can't do anything. Then what do you do?
you can't bomb that. You can't.
I mean, so
You
then
can, but you just
yeah,
gotta-
but what do you do at that point then? How do we get them out? They're just gonna threaten fucking. Well, if you would blow us up, we're gonna blow you up.
And that was the point of taking over
Oh.
Chernobyl. It was that now they're invincible there.
It's bad. It's all bad. All right, folks. This is our fun and exciting ending to this show.
you
Uh
want to talk about the giveaway?
oh, Dan's got a giveaway. How are we gonna do it?
I don't
We do
know.
it-
You're in charge of that. I just brought the
Dan's got
prize.
something to show you all. This is a giveaway from
Somebody take it.
Acro
Just-
Kicks 330.
Whoever's the first to.
We will do a Made to Motivate / Acro Kicks 330 giveaway. Entries free. How do we want to do it?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll post.
Charge anybody.
We
for
got some
this.
shoe lovers that love our show.
Yeah,
Right?
we'll post something on the Facebook. Let me turn to Dan's camera. It's upside down. No, it's not. It's just two-sided. We'll post something online where you can win these shoes from Acro Kicks 330. Dan, the shoe guy, Sandmann.
I won these in a.
Dan,
I won these in a mystery box.
yeah,
And
we're
I'm not gonna
passing
wear them.
the gift on to you.
So
What do you got in
they're
that
very-
box?
They're very white.
So are those Adidas?
Adidas Stan Smiths.
It's real bright.
Actually, they're Adidas Peter Pans.
Oh boy.
At
Hold them up
least
a little
this-
higher.
At least this shoe is.
Back a little more. All right, there we go.
Oh, it wasn't in focus.
It's just so bright on the white.
Size 10.5.
Size men's 10.5.
I don't know why they made this shoe in a
Stan
men's,
Smith, Adidas collab.
I'm pissed that I can't sign up for it. That's not my size.
You can cut the front off. Put your foot in there like Tom Hanks.
I got sandals
Castaway.
already.
Yeah, so we'll figure something out. Check out
It's a free pair of
the Facebook page for details or Instagram page. I don't know. We'll decide. And then we'll figure out a way to auction these off to one of you guys.
They actually feel like decent leather, though.
And maybe some other goodies. I don't know. We'll think about it. But hey, it's free shoes. You know, you regift it later. You can give them away at Christmas. Or if you're really into Peter Pan, then
If you like Peter Pan,
it's awfully nice to
Trying to
do.
You got a
the-
6-year-old who wears size 10s and a half.
You never know, man. Fucking future NBA star.
Hey, that Robin Williams version.
Hook.
Hook's
Awesome.
Rufio.
Dude, Hook's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Gets a bad rep.
Oh, look at those.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean,
It's cute.
these are official. It's got Tink on them.
It's cute.
What was that? Julia Fox?
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Julia Fox.
Julia Fox would be a great Tinkerbell.
She got to Tink something. All right. Well,
Her and Kanye West still
we'll have a giveaway.
doing
Like,
stuff.
share, subscribe. Tell all your friends. They want to win a pair of shoes from 330 Kicks, Acro Kicks 330. You got to be on the Facebook page to find out how.
If nobody wants it, nobody wins it.
We'll keep them for something else.
Maybe I'll just give them to the first person who beats me in mini golf.
Ooh, no, we're doing a giveaway. We're going to figure it out. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate Podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Young SI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate Podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.